Rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases. Includes random items. EA Sports FC 26 is here. Play your way this holiday season with an overhauled gameplay experience powered by community feedback. Enjoy festive upgrades in Ultimate Team with Winter Wildcards. Take on holiday-themed challenges and manage your career, like navigating the busy Christmas period. And team up with friends and clubs with new tournaments and live events. The club is yours. Give the gift of football with EA Sports FC 26.
Grabbing the holidays by the boughs with Duluth. Step 1. Hire a mall Santa to handle snow removal.
Ho, ho, ho! My sciatica.
Step 2. Hit Duluth Trading and load up on fire hose pants, buck naked underwear, pocket pack bibs, free swinging flannel, and all kinds of ingenious gear you won't find anywhere else. Grab the holidays by the boughs and shop Duluth Trading. Online and in store.
Live from New York, it's the show that's wishing you a very happy holiday. Brou asked me what I got. Oh my goodness! It's gonna be, what is it for you? Open it. Did Brou get something? Open it. That's good, bad.
Don't worry about Brou.
It's either gonna be a very expensive watch or something about Mac Jones making fun of me.
Just open it. A snake? You think a snake might pop out?
No, this is
just
too light
open
for a
it.
snake. Maybe some garden variety.
You wrap
packaging,
well.
No, it's not a microphone. I put it in a box, so
You have a
it
microphone?
would wrap well. Again, it's not what the box is.
Wow.
You gotta open it, take it out of the box.
You know what?
Well, if you give someone a microphone box, it certainly looks like.
But I'm telling you, it's not.
Let me just look.
Don't worry about what
You shouldn't have.
I know. It's perfect given.
It's in the news cycle.
It's in the news cycle.
Is this my own now?
Yes.
I mean, there were a lot of
For
turnovers.
today.
This is really nice. I like it's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, I did wanted to keep it
Bubble wrap.
safe.
I thought that when I saw the look on your face.
I mean, the guy had 5 turnovers. So multiple times, the ball just slipped out of his hands. You sent us pictures of your 10-year-old son
Holy
bombing
cow.
a football.
Brou, you do have a point about that.
There
Grab
it
the ball.
is. Merry Christmas.
Wow, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I
no
really
problem.
appreciate it. First hour, first
Wow.
things first. Today, Wemby and the Spurs. What does their third win over the Thunder mean?
In 12 days.
I know.
They would have swept them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, because once it's 3-0, pretty much over.
Well, close week.
And it's been neutral. It's a neutral site home game, road game.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Broncos win
right,
a close one in Arrowhead. What are the chances we saw the last of Travis Kelce? Do you think Mahomes should have been on the sidelines? That's all my parents kept.
He's not allowed to be.
Okay, I was trying to tell them that, like,
Oh,
in case.
yeah, you
like,
don't
well,
want
what
to
if there's
be
someone there? I'm like, Mom.
No, he's not allowed to be on the sideline.
Good. Thank goodness. Call my
that-
mom.
Just had
That's too
no. That's
dangerous.
why I'm saying he's not allowed not because of NFL rules, because he's danger.
Text my
He's
mom
surgery.
that, please. And finally, after a 9-0 week between upset alert Knicks picks and Parkins picks, are we due to keep our hot streak going?
Wow.
Or are we going to severely disappoint you? Alongside
I
Chris
got a
Broussard.
shocker from my upset alert.
Can I ask you a real question for the new year?
Am I trying? Am I trying?
No,
Am I
but are you
upset alert?
just because you're like, I'm big game hunting, but I don't know if your heart was in it or if you're just trying to score.
Well, this
points.
one is, I don't feel great about this one, but it is worth a good amount of points.
See,
and I think there's a possibility.
Is it Jets Patriots? Please tell me it's
No, not
You're
that
arresting
big.
a lot of people.
Not that
Yeah, I mean that's a 16.5 pointer if you go for that one.
Yeah, that's-
KW's
Nah,
been
that's
trying
too
to
much.
sell people on taking
You-
the Jets.
No,
all
we're
morning.
resting everyone. I think Vrabel's like nice 10-point win.
But you
12-point
have to win.
We're gonna win. It's an easy game. We always win those. We start with the Spurs beating the Thunder yet again. OKC is 26-5, but have lost to San Antonio 3 times in the last 12 days. Spurs have won 10 of their last 12. Here's SJ.
We have to get better as a group. You don't lose to a team 3 times in a row in a short span without them being better than you. So we have to get better. We have to look in the mirror, and that's everybody, from top to bottom, if we want to reach our ultimate goal.
Pretty good. Brou, what have Wemby and the Spurs proven against the Thunder this year?
Well, first of all, thank God for the Spurs. Because, and I mean, Adam Silver should feel that way, and just regular basketball fans should feel that way. Because, and we get it, OKC had a light schedule. it's going to be the toughest in the league going forward. But still, the way they were running through the league, winning by an average of 17 points a game, it looked like there's no drama here. They're going to win it. You know, it's a question of how badly they beat these teams by in the playoffs. And now there is legitimate drama. And not just the Spurs, because I do think the Spurs have proven they are a legitimate contender this year. But I think Denver is right there. They're doing all that they're doing without a few guys who are injured. So I think now it's really in question, because remember, everybody thought Boston was going to repeat. And before that, Denver. So now
Milwaukee.
It looks like, right. It's really up in the air who wins it. So that's great. But they proved they are, like I said, a legit contender, but a nightmarish matchup for OKC. And as OKC was running through the league, I was a bit baffled. And I've covered the league since 1995 as a reporter. And I was like, they're a very good team, but they got one true superstar. And it's not like it was Shaq and Kobe. It's not like it was LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. It's not like it was, Steph, Clay, and Kevin Durant, and Draymond. Like, one legit superstar. Jalen Williams is good. He's a true all-star.
But he's been out a lot of the year and hasn't been playing
and they still were doing it. And Chet is, potentially, I think, could be a star. Some question that. But still, for them to be doing what they were doing, the roster did not equate to going 24-1 and winning the way they were doing it. And I think the Spurs have kind of balanced things out. The Spurs are more talented. If you look at that roster, obviously Wemby is just an outlier. But then Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and De'Aaron Fox. Not to mention, Harrison Barnes is
Devin Vassell's a good player.
Devin Vassell's great because he's a shooter.
Yeah, Luke Cornett's a good
Keldon,
man.
He's been all right, a good role player. Yeah. Keldon Johnson's balling. But so I think they have more talent. And like I said last week, they match the Thunder's energy on the perimeter and intensity, and they have more talent. Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, A.J. Mitchell, God bless them. They're not superstar talent.
Yeah.
These guys are star talents.
We hit them with the God bless them.
But here's the other thing.
Dort might be a star talent in the NFL.
Well, I was going to say,
or Australian
he
rules
looks like
football.
he could definitely be a star NFL player. But they play, when Wemby says they play the right way, they play five-man basketball. Like, when you watch them, they don't defer to Wemby. They don't play through Wemby, which I think they should play through him in certain moments for sure. And part of me is like, I want to see this guy wreck the stat book and really put up a bunch of stats. But they have empowered, give credit to head coach Mitch Johnson, they have empowered that entire team to go for yours. Like, they all have the green light. And when you play five-man basketball, most teams don't do that. Even the Thunder, Shea takes way more shots than everybody else. Everything kind of goes through Shea. And so I think they're just everybody having the green light and having big-time talent. I think that is a problem for OKC. Now, look, again, will they be able to beat Denver? We'll see. But they're a contender.
So the most interesting part to me about this specific matchup from the Spurs side is it has not been just the Wemby show.
Right.
Wemby in the 3 games against OKC is playing 23 minutes a game, giving you 17, 8, and 2 with 3 total blocks, so 1 block a game. Now, that actually understates his impact because when you show the on-off, which we can put up for you, to me, this is instructive in 2 ways. One is, so in 70 minutes with Wemby on the court, the Spurs have won by 47 points. But it's also, so they are dominating the Wemby minutes. But it's also noteworthy that in 74 minutes, nearly 2 full games, with him off the court, they're damn near playing him even. Minus 10 over the course of 74 minutes. It's a few possessions. Right. And
but that's a heck of an impact.
No. His minutes have won them the games. But to your point, Brou, when other teams, when they play the Thunder, lose by 20, The fact that we now have 74 minutes of them playing without Wemby and still.
That's about 3 points a game.
Right. Yeah. It's saying being competitive, being right in it, speaks to the fact that I wonder if other teams around the league can use as a bit of a blueprint the non-Wemby minutes. How do we stay attached to this team? Because to me it seems like if you have a team that is as young as the Thunder are and as hungry as the Thunder are and close to match their athleticism, you can give them trouble. Like that, you can like. I think that
Minnesota beat them. We'll see.
Yeah,
if that,
but like teams like that, we look at as contender adjacent, that I would say are drawing dead against the Thunder, are teams like the Warriors or the Lakers or the older star-laden teams. What you need is depth and athleticism, not, you know what I mean, a couple superstars.
Yep.
So that's the first thing about the Spurs side of it. About the Thunder side of it, and this is what made me relieved, kind of like Brou was. To me, these 3 games proved this is not going to be a cakewalk. And I think it's worth noting, we have not had a team cakewalk to a second straight championship in 25 years. The 2001 Lakers were the last team to do it. The 2010 Lakers were down 3-2 in the finals, came back and won. Mm-hmm. The 2013 Heat faced a Game 7 in the conference finals and were down 3-2 in the finals. These are the teams that ended up repeating. They still, the 2018 Warriors with Kevin Durant were down 3-2 in the conference finals to Houston, and Chris Paul pulled his hamstring. And we have not had a team that's the defending champion just roll through everyone since the 2001 Lakers peak Shaq and peaking Kobe, that team that went 15-1 in the postseason. And I do wonder, KW, if this team at all reminds people for good or for bad of the 16 Warriors, a team that had won the title the year before a little ahead of schedule. People thought they were going to be good, but they ended up being great, winning 67 games, but also a team that people thought they've got one superstar, and then not, like Klay Thompson could be a star one day. Draymond hadn't yet fully established himself. And then the 2016 Warriors started 24-0. This team started 24-1. They looked like this juggernaut. And then they faced elimination 4 times in those playoffs. They were down 3-1 in the conference finals and ended up losing the finals. So that does give you a little bit of hope. Sounds bad because it sounds like we're rooting against the Thunder. But what we all hope for is to have suspense and competitiveness and the outcome be in doubt, which it didn't feel like 2 weeks ago. It didn't feel like this was going to be in doubt 2 weeks ago, KW.
Move on to the Lakers. Lakers and LeBron have provided us with dozens of memorable Christmas Day games. This was not one of them. Lakers never led all games. Şengün had 12 rebounds, same amount as all of the Lakers starters. LA out-rebounded 48-25. JJ Redick might have ruined his Christmas. Take a listen.
Because we don't care enough right now. And that's the part that bothers you a lot. We don't care enough to do the things that are necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional. It's a matter of making the choice. And too often we have guys that don't want to make that choice. And it's pretty consistent who those guys are. And so Saturday's practice, I told the guys, it's going to be uncomfortable. The meeting is going to be uncomfortable. I'm not doing another 53 games like this.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You tell your parents.
I can do better things to do.
You tell your parents, practice starting 15 minutes early. Get them here. And tell them maybe to pick a lot of youth basketball energy there, not necessarily.
Well, that is his background.
right. Well, look.
It is.
I know, but still it's absurd.
Yeah. You guys know I'm Bruto. I'm here for the hard coaching, all right? However, most coaches that coach like this, and honestly, you can only really think of a few, but they have multiple championships. Pat Riley had that type of clout, Greg Popovich, they have multiple championships. When you talk like that, and he might have this, but you have to have two things. One is the full backing of your front office and ownership. All right?
I think he has that.
Yeah, when the Big Three first went to Miami, they weren't feeling Eric Spoelstra. And part of it was they felt he carried himself with a swagger they didn't feel he had earned. J.J. Redick is doing that. Because I'm sure many people watch that like, you won, how many rings do you have? As a player and as a coach? Were you a lockdown defender, as a player? I mean, so that's the first thing. You need, now, if you have the backing of the front office and it's like players can complain, players can get mad, then they ultimately will have to play for you. And that's what happened in Miami, and the rest is history. The second thing you need is the backing of your superstars. And I'm sure he's not talking about Luka. Does he have Luka's backing? I'm not sure.
Feels like it.
Is he talking? I bet Nick DeAndre Ayton and Rui Hachimura.
Ayton had 2 rebounds yesterday. Right. I think he's a little frustrated with DeAndre Ayton.
That's the business you're in.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me a break.
But here's the thing, and I mentioned superstars. Is he talking about LeBron? I wonder. I don't know. I mean, obviously they did the podcast together. They had a good relationship. I imagine they still have a good relationship, and they, LeBron certainly backed him for the head coach. But look at the numbers. These are the numbers. And LeBron's 40. But I'm saying the numbers with him on and off the court, they're better with him off the court. And I know AJ is into analytics JJ's analytics and stats and all that. Minus 59 with LeBron on, plus 44 with him off. Now, I'm not saying they're better without LeBron James. But I'm saying if you're J.J. Redick and he's all in the numbers and he's looking at that defensive rating, I'm wondering, is he talking about LeBron? And that would make this thing really interesting if that's the case. I don't think they're better without LeBron. I think they're better. Now, they haven't been healthy since LeBron's back for the most part. But I do think they're better with LeBron kind of playing more of a role, like when he first came back, getting a lot of assists, rebounding. If he can put emphasis on the defensive end at this age, that'd be good. But let Luka and Austin be the top scorers. I think that's when they're at their best. But I just wonder about this.
But I also, to your point about Ayton, that's the business you're in. If your team is not able to function defensively without the in 3 days 41-year-old at 70,000 minutes locking down, then you have a bigger problems than that. And it means your plan was poor. And so listen, Tim McMahon said this morning on the great podcast Hoop Collective, our friend Wendy does, that Don Nelson used to say coaches have about 6 bullets a year they can fire going after their players. Yeah. And he thinks Redick's already fired all 6. 2 days ago.
All 6
well, because I don't know how. 2 days ago, he was like, we got a guy on this team doesn't know what a flood concept is. Basically calling the guy, like, buddy, you're the coach. And so J.J. Redick, I think, is very sharp. I think has obviously, and he will tell you about it. He went to Duke. I don't know if you know. High IQ. I think at times in the media and as a coach, we have seen a slight lacking in EQ where, all right, how much of this is on me? Because I'll show you a different graphic. Part of the coach's job is sometimes hard decisions about starting lineups. And here's a fact about the Lakers, and this is not all on LeBron. The Lakers starting 5 doesn't work. That's their numbers and where that would rank amongst the league.
Well, that's not good.
That's not good.
I didn't know it was last.
That's a minus 20
right, minus, so they start off every game awful. So that to be clear, that's not, I don't know that they rank last amongst all starting lineups. That is, if that were a team, if they played 48 minutes, where it would rank in all those categories. JJ.
I hate to say it, I kind of like that starting lineup.
Yeah, well,
on paper.
On paper, but it doesn't work.
Your 5 best players.
Right, it's your 5 best players, but it doesn't work.
No.
So then you got to figure something out. And how much of the Lakers' issues are on what JJ's talking about, which I'm sure he's correct. Some guys aren't locked in. There is not a real night-to-night dedication defensively. I think that this team.
Who's not locked in?
I mean, I think
that's the question.
Is it DeAndre Ayton, who the Trailblazers are paying to play against? And then you're like shocked that he's not Wemby?
Yeah, this is what you deal with Ayton. I mean, he's had his really good moments,
and I'm not putting all this on.
No, but is it Rui? I really don't.
It's a question,
and it might be some of it. Some of it might be frustration with Luka on the defensive end. Some of it might be frustration with LeBron. That's moment, like that. The thing is this. To Brou's initial point, I do not think J.J. Redick has earned enough clout, that's the wrong word, but to constantly be doing this without be pointing as many fingers without also pointing thumbs. I would like to hear occasionally from JJ, I didn't have them ready. Even if in his head, these lazy bumps, I had them so ready. No, just taking, you know what I mean? You can go too far with that, with like what I think Sirianni was doing last year in the NFL, where any issue, he was like, "That's on me. It's on me. It's on me. I got to do that." But it feels, JJ to me is acting as if these guys just listened to me,
correct,
everything would be fixed.
Completely.
And I don't think, while I'm sure LeBron can at times be a frustrating guy to coach. And Luka, we have at four, this version of LeBron. And Luka, we know how, at maddening he can be at times just watching, and Ayton is Ayton, all of that. But that's why they pay you a lot of money to coach the team.
Doesn't it feel funny just having all these games and watching Thunder Spurs and then listening to JJ, like, JJ, you're coaching a 40-year-old guy, an offensive prodigy who's not good defensively, DeAndre Ayton, who has had multiple spots and has never been known for tenacity, and Rui just kind of fits, and Austin is okay, but really might be like a number one on another team, but not a defensive great player. It's like, you got to coach the guys you have. You're not coaching the Spurs. Right. You're not coaching the Thunder. Just, hey, we're going to score a lot of points and let the chips fall where they may. It's not
as odd as it sounds, giving up 119 to the Rockets, if you'd have told me going into Christmas the Rockets are going to score 119, I'd have thought, all right, I think the Lakers will probably win.
Yes, we have to have a team that gets 120.
The problem last night, oddly, was the offense. Right. And that's been during this losing streak.
Reeves
and losing Reeves is important. I feel like he is quickly pulling away at the threat of how many times he can yell at it, publicly yell at his team.
Lakers have lost 3 in a row, and this Saturday practice is going to be a doozy. Moving on. Jokic set an NBA record yesterday, 18 points in overtime to bring home Denver's 8th win in 10 games. Here's his full stat line. 56 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists. Teammate Peyton Watson, stunned.
I'm tired of not being surprised. That surprised me, though. We can't continue to just dismiss what this guy does on a night-to-night basis. I think, bro, it's unbelievable. There's no way that we could take for granted or to go over people's heads what Jokic did tonight.
Brou, on the call today, you asked, what are we seeing? Did you come up with an answer?
Yeah, I think we are seeing, Nick, the best player ever without multiple rings.
Great answer.
Now, that would include Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Garnett, Dirk, guys like that.
And all the 0-ring guys.
Yes, Barkley.
Yeah,
Malone, Karl Malone. Moses Malone had 1, so I'm including him. Like
Dr. J?
Dr. J has 3 by
3 because I knew.
I hate them. I hate to put him ahead of Dr. J. Dr. J got 3 too in the ABA. Yeah. This dude is phenomenal. And he's about to average a triple-double, 30 points and a triple-double, leading the league in rebounds and assists for the second straight year. He's going to average his triple-double. He's making that he's averaging a triple-double. That's what he does. All right. But this is going to blow your minds if you guys don't already know it. his PER, player efficiency rating, which probably get a boost nowadays because of the three-point shooting, but still, his PER for this season is 35.4. 35.4. The second best PER in history is 32.8, and he has it.
Yeah.
Jokic. LeBron and Jordan, the best PERs of their career for a season was 31.7. Jordan slightly had 31.7, LeBron 31.67 or something, So it's very close. Right.
Close. Yeah.
But that's my point. That is the type of season he is having. And if he gets multiple rings, Nick, it's going to be hard to keep him out of the top 10. I mean, some people are trying to throw him in there already.
Yeah.
But here I will give him this, because everybody that you and I think most people have in the top 10, have multiple rings.
Every single.
All right? Yeah. In his defense, though, Bill Russell won his rings, Bob Cousy, Sam Jones, John Havlicek, a bunch of all Hall of Famers. Kareem won his with Oscar and Magic.
Yeah.
Shaq won his with Kobe and Dwayne Wade. Wilt won his with Jerry West, and then his first one, Hal Greer, who's a Hall of Famer, and Billy Cunningham, really good players. And Elijah Wan won his, with Clyde Drexler, his second one, but his first one was about.
Yeah.
So the guys that have won multiple rings have had some legendary type perimeter guy with them.
Yep.
He doesn't, as good as Jamal Murray is, he's not that. And so if they don't win multiple rings, Nick, one, you can argue about him being in the top 10. But if you're Denver, you have to be ashamed of yourself. And I get it. It's Denver. It's a small market. They may feel like, hey, we got our one ring. If you're Denver and you don't win more than one ring with this guy, you should be ashamed of yourself.
And I'm a little ashamed I was so late to the party on Jokic, but I showed up. And he's spellbinding in games like yesterday, and is just, for today's basketball, a close to perfect offensive player. Yeah. Like the passing, the shooting, all of it. And so here's what I'm comfortable saying, Brou, because we not surprisingly went close to the same place. I think I'm ready to say that if he were to win another ring, he's the best center since Kareem, which would vaunt him ahead of Shaq and Hakeem. The Russell Wilt stuff's too hard to argue. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying since Kareem.
From you, because you're a big Hakeem defense.
And Shaq.
Right. I mean, I think Hakeem's one of the most underrated players ever. But so this is something our friend Bill Simmons talked about in relation to Giannis, but I think it applies to Jokic, which is playoff series, because it's not just like ring count, it's also deep playoff runs. So I put what I think is everyone, this should be your top 12. We could argue about the order, but the 12 greatest players ever. I wish that was a little bigger, I apologize. But it's playoff series 1. 41, 37, 30, 32, 27, 18, 35, 33, 23. Hakeem with 16. 32 for Shaq, 24 for Steph. Joker's at 10. And so it is, Joker's at 10 playoff series 1. I think Giannis, which is when Bill was talking about, is at 9. So it's, even if he wins MVP, as brilliant as he is.
Very few have 4.
It feels unfair to those 12 men on that list to, you know what I mean, if he has a third of the playoff series victories as Kobe, to be like, he's better than Kobe. You know what I mean? So I do think, though, Brou, if he gets to, I believe Hakeem deserves to be in that company. He has 2 titles. He has 3 finals appearances, 2 titles. If they can win another title, that I'd put him in that company.
Yeah. Here, quickly, he is almost as unique as Wemby. Like Wemby's we've never seen anything like. He's almost that unique. A 7-footer doing the things he does. The first point center, scores from every mid-range, post,
I
three.
also think if he wins another title, maybe it's more for a podcast, his career versus Wilt's career becomes really interesting.
Welcome back to First Things First. Check out our podcast, which is cooking, and we're on the road to 1 billion views on YouTube. We are currently 33 million away. Yeah. I think we're going to get that.
Gianna's down in Miami. You know what I heard she's doing?
What?
Handing out resumes in case we don't get there. Just letting you know.
You got to pick it up.
Just hand to hand?
Hand to hand. Old school. Old school.
Check it out. It's guaranteed excellent. Welcome back. Broncos were favored by almost 14 points, but ended up holding on for the win against the, hold on, who is that again? Kansas City Chiefs. Both threw for 182, one late TD in the air, one rushing touchdown. Nick, how should Bronco fans feel about this win?
Embarrassed.
Wow.
Denver ain't got it. I've been
Interesting take.
I've been dancing around this all year. And maybe I obviously did not believe the Broncos could be nearly as good as they are going into the year. I've been proven dead wrong on that, and I am now giving myself a chance to be dead wrong about the same team with basically the same take twice in 1 year. Rarely done feat. But I owe the audience honesty. And it's one thing to play a bunch of close games. It's another thing to play a bunch of close games where you're trailing late or tied late to the worst teams in the league. That's what I've been saying. So again, KW, every discussion is not a reverse discussion.
I wasn't even talking about the Patriots, but you do make a good point.
And so, look at these time scores and who they're playing in these games that they found themselves in. These are teams that would have the first, second, fourth, and seventh picks of this year's draft, and whatever you'd consider the Chiefs with, Chris Aluduke and playing quarterback. But the Chiefs, just as is, have the 10th pick, and that's with Mahomes playing a bunch of the games. They're down to the Jets with 5 minutes left. They're down 3 scores to the Giants with 10 minutes left. They're tied with the Raiders in the final moments of the third quarter. They go to overtime with Washington, and they're tied with what's left of the Chiefs with 1:50 left. That Brou is not a team that is about to play back to back to back, and if they don't get the bye, to back excellent games to win a championship or get to a championship. I don't think they have that level of consistency, and I'll add one other thing, Brou. I don't think the defense has been quite as scary the last few weeks.
That's true.
Certainly not last week.
Right. Last week they allowed 34, and this week the Chiefs with 5th and 6th string offensive linemen, the problem wasn't the Denver pass rush. I'm not going to act like the Chiefs offense hummed or whatever, but it wasn't that Denver pass rush that was leading the league in sacks early on. And so I don't think they should feel good about it, Brou.
I do. I agree with some of what you said, and I'll get to that. But it's a win in the NFL.
Oh, I know you're not.
On the road.
You got to be kidding me.
Hold on.
You got to be kidding me.
I know you're mad because I'm not about to bow down to your Patriots.
I'm not even talking about the Patriots.
But let me say this. Last week, the Chiefs understandably had an emotional letdown.
Yes.
I think this week, obviously, they may not have played their best without Mahomes, but I think they were, as the champions they are, I'm sure they were like, no. We are not going out like that. We got stomped by the freaking Tennessee Titans. This might be Travis Kelce's last game in Arrowhead. Mm-hmm. We are going to show the world we are some champions, all right? And conversely, Nick, I think Denver probably has somewhat of you're thinking you're going to face Patrick Mahomes and this rival, this all-time great team, and instead it's, I can't even pronounce it.
Chris Aluduke.
Yeah, at quarterback. Okay, so I think there was a letdown by Denver and not by the Chiefs. So I think there was that. I also think you're right about playing bad teams close. The Chargers and the Eagles lost to the Giants. The Bills lost to Atlanta and Miami. Like, good teams lose to bad teams all the time in this league. They played a bad team close, and some other bad teams close. Now, look, where I agree with you is their offense is obviously a question mark. And you're right, the defense hasn't been as great, but I still believe in that defense. But Bo Nix is great in the fourth quarters, but not very good in the first 3. So there are several teams I would probably think can beat them in the playoffs in AFC, but I don't think they should be kicking themselves over this win.
What do you want to do with Bo Nix here? Bo Nix, Opta stats. He's 117 passing yards, 55 rushing yards away from having 7,500 passing yards, 750 rushing in the first 2 seasons. Only Cam and Kyler. He's got another one. He's up against wins, right, with Russell Wilson. Most wins all time, first 2 years. Like, when you watch the game, it's not like electric quarterback. But then you look at the stats and like this guy's doing historically great stuff.
So his
career.
I wouldn't call it historically great.
He's a lot of like 2 guys, and but one of them's Bo Nix.
Yeah, and another one's Kyler. And so like that,
Who
and
was a
so
Pro Bowler
like that. I mean, I think that speaks to the health, availability, coming in baseline ready, which I will give him credit for. You know what I mean? Not taking a long time to get pro ready. So those things you do get credit for, but that to me, that none of those numbers translate to, oh, that means he's going to be a star. Like that means he's going. He deserves credit for it, but I don't know that it projects out to stardom the way one of 3 players ever to do something sounds like it would. Listen, I agree with you, Brou, that any team can lose any weekend. I get that. And the Broncos deserve credit for not having lost many of these games. I understand that. But when I show you, those are 5 games against maybe 5 of the 6 or 5 of the 7 worst teams in the NFL. If you consider the Chiefs with a third-string quarterback and all the other guys they put on IR over the week because the year was over, one of those teams. I didn't even include week 1 against the Titans. It's a 1-point game in the 4th quarter. So it's one thing to have blow a game. It's another thing for 6 of your 16 games this year, you are playing the worst teams in football, and it is a dogfight in the 4th quarter. That, to me, is concerning for them.
Well, look, because they don't have a prolific quarterback, that's going to be their lot. Like, it's going to be we win maybe low-scoring games with the defense, and he's clutch. So he's big in the 4th quarter. Again, I think they got warts, and Jacksonville's more balanced between offense and defense. The Patriots are more balanced between offense and defense. Buffalo has a much better quarterback. Like, there are other things, even the Chargers, too, have a better quarterback. Like, there are things to poke at with them. But am I writing them off completely in the AFC? No.
I've got to – that's probably – I'm going to save it.
Okay, well, then can I say something real quick?
Go.
If the Chargers – beat the Texans this weekend, which is 1.5-point spread. I understand people think the Texans are going to win, but Chargers could win. Then Chargers-Broncos is for that division, which means and it seems like that snuck up on us. But if the Broncos end up winning, either the Chargers lose this weekend and or the Broncos win next weekend and they get the 1 seed, they can reset. Everything goes through Denver. Bad weather with that defense. I'll feel one way. If they lose to the Chargers, and I would argue they are currently playing some of their worst ball of the year. Denver, that is. Yeah. Getting blown out by Jacksonville and then whatever that was last night. And all of a sudden they're on the road in Pittsburgh to start the playoffs. I won't like their chances. And so that is
Pittsburgh. I wonder if we chalk this up to it's like, it's Christmas Day, but also a Thursday night game.
Yeah,
it felt more Thursday night.
I would feel better about that if they hadn't just come off their worst performance of the year. Like, if they had beaten Jacksonville and it was one thing, but that should have been the wake-up, and it wasn't. And had they lost, as you know, they basically lose. The game was really important. They lose the 1 seed if they lose.
Yeah. Chris Jones stay on side. It would have been nice. On the other side of the ball, Travis Kelce introduced to loud cheers in what might have been his last game at Arrowhead. 5 catches for 36 yards. Here he was after the game.
The only time it ever crossed my mind is I was driving in the other day and I saw how much the Powerball was. And I was like, man, if I could just win that, I wouldn't have to work another day in my life.
Do you think that was Travis's last game at Arrowhead?
I hope not. And maybe this is wish casting. But I'm now buying into the Kevin Wildes theory.
Oh, I'm ready for it. Told you.
That Travis Kelce is going to announce his retirement. I have no insight on this at all, and this is probably just a combination of what I think is going to happen and what I want to happen. I think he is going to announce his retirement after the year, and I want him, and I think he might come back next season late in the year. That, like, especially if
you guys are good.
Yeah,
they're not going to come back.
Right. No, but I listen. I believe Patrick's going to be back for the start of the year. I think the Chiefs will be very good again, and I think that. So that's. I don't know if that's the right answer, but that's. So, and I can't. On this one. This is one of my favorite athletes and people in pro sports ever. Someone I've been lucky enough to get to know somewhat, and I think he's a legend in his field and what he does, and so I'd like him to play forever. I think he is going to retire, but I don't know if that means he's actually retired.
Is that generally planned, though? Like, generally when guys come back, it's not like they planned on, look.
Correct.
I'm going to sit out the first 10 games.
I wonder, because he's, media savvy, I will be very interested to hear his retirement speech. Whether it's like, I'm going to hang them up for good versus, you know what, it's just time for me to take a break or step away. Or I bet he leaves the door cracked open a hair.
Yeah, I mean, what you said does make sense. Like, if he retires and they're 8-2 and looking like they could win the Super Bowl, they just need a tight end or whatever, then it would make sense. And I think there would actually be a clamoring for him to maybe come back. He made the Pro Bowl. He's get that good. The Pro Bowl. Yeah, he had a really
839 yards.
He's good.
Touchdowns.
He's not what he used to be, but he's still good. Very good player. I think though he will retire as well, and I leave open the possibility of what you said. I'm not sure how next year is going to work out. We'll see if Mahomes is back, but he could either be out the first several games or limited to the point where he's not the same player initially. So maybe next season is another throwaway year, and then he doesn't come back. And then maybe it's too late after that. So, but I think he'll retire.
Jason Witten, Gronk, Jimmy Graham, Darren Waller, all retired, all came back, all were pretty successful when they came back. Travis is going to be in the media. It's not like he's going to disappear. He's going to get a lot of questions. We're going to start seeing, Travis throwing the ball around.
He's not coming back as quarterback.
He was a quarterback in high school.
On National Tight End Day.
Yeah.
Watch it. We'll start to.
I love this take, and I just hope it's correct. I hope it's correct. Listen, nobody gets to go out perfectly.
Most people don't, right?
But I would like Travis Kelce to be able to have his last game be a meaningful one.
Yes.
Even if it's sad, just be a meaningful one.
Looking for ways to keep the kids entertained while traveling? Netflix Games lets them jump into fun, creative adventures at no extra cost. Everything's unlocked with your Netflix membership. From Paw Patrol Academy and Lego Duplo World to Barbie color creations and World of Peppa Pig, there's something for every little explorer. And you don't need Wi-Fi. Kids can play anytime, anywhere. Visit netflixfamily.com/travel tips for all your kids' holiday entertainment.
Lions season's over. Lost both coordinators before the season. Classic one. Is that Classic 1 or Classic 2? We said that was going to be an issue. Lost the game yesterday where they turned the ball over 6 times. Here's Dan Campbell.
I do not like being home for the playoffs, and I know our guys don't either. So, and there again, whenever you lose, man, it takes a village, man. Everybody's involved, including myself, So I'm always going to look at myself first, I'm always going to wish I would have given golf more, given those players more.
Okay. Did the Super Bowl window close, bro?
I don't think so because I believe in Dan Campbell. I think he's a very good coach, and I think he's a culture builder. We all know what the Lions have been before he got there. Even with Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. There's only been a few years, but he has built them from a laughing stock, essentially, into one of the best teams in the league. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, they got a lot of work to do, mainly on the defensive end, but the offensively, you still have Jahmyr Gibbs and, Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I think you've got to build up that defense. And secondly, Nick, I do, as much as I like him, and I said on Friday or a couple days ago, I think he should have made the Pro Bowl. there is legitimate question to, is Jared Goff, we know he's good, but can he win you a Super Bowl? Now, I think he can if your defense is really good. And because of injuries, their defense hasn't been good enough. But if you give him great defense, he's got very good pieces offensively, I think he can be good enough. But there's a legitimate question to, is he good enough to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, of course. I don't know. I don't know the Lions Super Bowl window was ever actually open. So the Lions,
because of Goff?
Because
they didn't get close for
they didn't deliver in the playoffs.
As good as Dan Campbell's been, they have one season where they won a playoff game since he's been there. And they won 2, and then they blew a lead in the NFC Championship game. Now, I happen to think that had they won that game, that team wasn't going to beat the Chiefs that made the Super Bowl, but that team had beaten the Chiefs, in the first game of the year. So
that was a fake one, though.
The Lions were great at annihilating overmatched teams. And last year they had an awesome regular season that then turned into the very rare number 1 overall seed that loses its first playoff game. And typically when that has happened, it has been Lamar's, as a second-year quarterback, it happened. Ryan Tannehill, when he was there, it's like, wow, the Titans are the 1 seed. Right? How'd they get the number 1 seed? That doesn't happen that often.
But they were taped together. I feel like you hold that loss against them in a way that other people just chalk it up to injuries.
And I don't mean to be rude, but I think that's because I remember how that game played out. They didn't lose that game just because the defense was banged up. They lost that game because the quarterback turned the ball over, I think it was either 3 or 4 times. And so, and then Jamison Williams threw a pick on one of their biggest plays of the year. That was a baffling game. And so I have not ever believed in the Lions quite as much as I think Vegas has and other media has. And I think the loss of Ben Johnson is real. I think the loss of Aaron Glenn, it might be true that Aaron Glenn is not a successful head coach. 1 year is too early to judge, but it hasn't been a great year. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a super valuable defensive coordinator. And you know what I have said, Brou, in the past about culture-building coaches. I think building culture and establishing a culture is wildly important to get a team from the dregs to competitive or contending. But once you're contending or competitive, the culture can operate on its own for some teams. And what you need is schematic edges, and those seem to go out the window when he lost his coordinators. Sure. And so it doesn't, and I'm not saying this
I do think he should get a new OC. I don't think he should call the plays. And they improved offensively when he started calling them, but that's just very tough to do. Only a few can do that.
And to your other point, and we joke about the tiny hand stuff, and I think that Goff is what did I call him? Was he the guy that I called a civilian?
Yeah, civilian.
The civilian. And that there is, if everything is just right, he can be exceptional. And he can operate your offense, and he's accurate, and he's on time. But if things get a little off, I don't think he can fix things for you. And I think that's just a hard way to operate. It doesn't mean you can't win, but it's just a hard way to operate.
8 turnovers on the season, 6 yesterday, so a total of 14 turnovers. Not good. Eagles had the Bills on upset alert. That is next on First and
Yeah, the fumbles, because he doesn't have many picks.
Live from New York, the show with breaking news. Lane Johnson not playing for the Eagles. That makes me think the Eagles are still going to win easily against the Bills.
What? Wow.
Maybe not easily.
No,
you said it.
You said it, bro.
Fine, easily.
This guy.
Okay.
So you're down with the Eagles?
They cannot stop the run. The Bills can't stop the run.
What if I were to tell you the Eagles' run defense is barely better than the Bills' run defense, and you haven't said a word about it all year?
Jalen Carter back? Does those numbers count, Jalen Carter, on and off the field?
The Bills have been
Run the
without their
numbers.
best D tackle for a month.
Run the numbers. Is Jalen Carter
We're doing
playing?
the topic now.
Run the numbers.
He probably has.
No, he didn't. You tell Nick to run the numbers. He's going to put up a full screen. He's like, I don't have the numbers. He's going to be humiliated. Today, Professor Broussard back with a new grade for the Cowboys.
Look, I do like the blue uniforms. I've always liked the blue uniforms.
Bad sign when
You
you're just
rarely
talking
see
about the uniforms and not the game. Meanwhile, hottest segment in all of sports, upset alert and Nick's picks, and we have an update on the scoring. Let's just say, Brou, we're not so far behind Coach and Greg.
Yeah, you are.
We're way behind.
No, there's a different. He crunched the numbers in a different way.
Save it.
Oh, wow.
It's a tease. Right now, we're headed to Buffalo. America's game of the week on Fox. Josh versus Jalen. McDermott versus Sirianni. And two teams that have been statistical equals if you don't count the Super Bowl appearance and the Super Bowl win. Last 3 seasons, Philadelphia and Buffalo have both won 35 games, both lost 14 games. Points per game, very similar. And the defense, very, very similar.
Wow.
Okay, Brou, you wanted just the plain old who you got in this one.
Yeah, look, honestly, I could see it going either way.
Oh, good.
I won't be surprised if either team wins. But I'm going with Philadelphia. You said it, Wiles, and you are correct.
Oh,
that
I felt like you guys were making fun of me.
The Bills can't stop the run. Saquon has gotten it going the last few weeks. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see if that's real or not. But 110 yards a game over the last 3 games he's averaged. Jalen has had his 2 best rushing games the last 2 weeks since September. Yep. So that's a huge part of their game if he can run at his best. And then obviously we know he can throw the ball when he needs to. He's shown that. And also the Bills have not looked great in the last 3 weeks. I know they've been a second half team this season.
Yep.
But Cleveland, they were in a dogfight with a bad Browns team. The week before, New England, they're terrible in the first half, come back, look great in the second half, but a whole game. And then the week before that, Cincinnati's having its way with them until Joe Burrow throws these crazy interceptions. Give the Bills some credit for making the plays, but still, he melted down or whatever it was, Burrow, and they were able to win that game. So I think that, the Eagles are going to pull this out and show everybody that you're going to have to beat us to take our crown in the NFC.
That's a great take.
The Bills don't lose at home, and the Bills are better than the Eagles. So I'll go with the Bills. The Bills have won 15 of 16 at home. While you talked about how the Bills have not looked great the last few weeks, against Cincinnati, the offense did whatever it wanted. Against New England, they spotted you guys 3 touchdowns, and then the offense did whatever it wanted. So much so that KW's had 3 big takeaways from the Pats-Bills game. One was, I wanted to win, but a loss was fine.
It was a good look.
Good look.
Well, more than fine.
Right.
That was good.
The loss was lovely.
The other one was that the Patriots defense was so outgunned and overmanned that you were mad at Travion Henderson for scoring so fast.
Not mad at him, but I would have preferred a long drive.
Yeah, and
we needed a breather.
Right. And so the Bills' offense looked exceptional against the Bengals after a slow first quarter and a half, exceptional against New England. And I agree. Josh Allen did not play well against the Browns. James Cook did, though.
Yeah.
And the Bills, I don't think that was a good game by any means. But they, so I think that's fair to criticize them there. But they escaped with a win. Philly was in the midst of a 3-game losing streak. And now I am supposed to believe it is fixed because they dominated Kenny Pickett and Josh Johnson. I don't believe that. I think that the Raiders had been, sadly, the worst team in football all year with their starting quarterback. And then the Eagles played them with Kenny Pickett. And against the Commanders, who have been awful this season, they're trailing when Mariota gets hurt, and then Josh Johnson comes in, and the Eagles take over. Again, I give them credit for it, but it doesn't, to me, signal they turned a page. And so I think, and the point I was trying to make before, KW, is the Bills have an awful run defense. The Eagles' run defense is bad. It's 21st in the league. They're allowing 4.4 yards per carry. Now the Bills is 5.4 and it's 31st. So again, it's one is awful and one is just run of the mill bad.
Yeah.
But
they're getting Jalen Carter.
But Jalen Carter, for the record, is not really his claim to fame is not his run stuffing. He's good at that, but his claim to fame is being one of the best, creating pressure from the Chris Jones style interior D tackle.
But are you expecting like a Bears-esque annihilation of the Eagles defense? Where I think run for 200 yards.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's going to score 30. That's what I think.
That's what they do. They like scoring 30.
They score 30 a lot, and I don't think Philadelphia, even with the Bills' struggles stopping the run, I don't think Philadelphia is going to be able to hang with them offensively.
I know we joked around about the Travion Henderson thing, but it was further strengthened. The Browns, in the Browns game, the Browns ran for 160. They had the ball for 35 minutes. I do think Sirianni, if they're going to run the ball, would like to play a little bit of old Mahomes rules, keep the ball out of Josh Allen.
That's what I think.
Quick look forward before we get to upset alert, Brou. If the Eagles do win, are you going to think less of the Bills and more of the Eagles, or it's just going to be, one game?
I'll certainly think more of I already like the Eagles. I'm giving them a shot in the NFC that's wide open. I just feel like the Bills, again, I hate to keep dwelling on the field in the AFC, but.
It's wide open?
Yeah.
They got
the best quarterback by a good margin in the and he plays well in the playoffs.
Oh, that big of one.
So
his story, for career, and he's been great in the playoffs. So.
Brou doesn't want to dwell on it's wide open. I don't want to dwell on how important and useful I think it can be to, if you don't earn the bye, be able to give yourself a bye in Week 18.
Yeah.
The silver lining for Buffalo, if they lose, is assuming the Pats win that we think the Pats are going to beat the Jets this weekend. Mm-hmm. Buffalo will be eliminated from the divisional race, and they might say, we don't care what wild card spot we got, and we are going to rest our guys in the final week of the year. So, if they're in a weird spot where if they win this game, they have to go all out in Week 18, even though they are not going to, they would take the Patriots would need to lose to Miami, which I guess could happen. But they are probably playing for nothing, but they don't know that, so they'll go. If they lose, then you just know Week 18's essentially meaningless, and maybe we just sit our guys.
And do they feel like, that's the question, is would they feel like,
well, we know Josh will at least play the first snap of the game because that streak is very important.
Keep the streak going.
But I think the Bills win easily, just for the record.
Ooh.
I think 31-21.
If they win 31-21, I will have second thoughts about supporting the Eagles.
Okay.
Because the Bills aren't good.
Sorry.
I didn't say that, you did.
No, see, there it is.
Time now for the hottest segment in all of sports. It's Upset Alert. A segment so hot it warms your heart. I was in the holiday spirit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got to see your grandmother.
Yes, I did. When I closed my eyes in heaven. Oh, it's hilarious to you? Oh, that's great. My loss. Quick update on the standings. And Nick has a surprise for us.
So first, look at this. All winners. Brou gets a win. KW with a 10-pointer, pulling him to within just 23.5 points behind Coach and Greg.
That's interesting.
Which sounds like a lot. But there's 16.5 points available to you this weekend.
Excellent.
If you were to take the Jets.
He's not.
And Coach and Greg. But there is a lot of scuttlebutt.
I don't know.
From your table mate, Brou, KW, about the scoring's unfair.
I have no problem with the scoring.
Kevin Wildes has actually dominated this, and I'm not getting credit for it.
Because we have to pick underdogs. And then Danny comes out here in a full King's costume. I'm like, man, we have to pick underdogs.
We did a deeper dive into the data. This year, if you guys were just picking against the spread, Brou is 6-10, Wildes is 8-8, Coach and Greg are 7-9.
Hello, that means I'm number one.
The difference is the segment is called Upset Alert, not Cover Alert. Brou has gotten 3 of the 6 covers he has, 3 won outright. So those are your 3 wins. Of Wilds' 8 covers, 4 won outright. Coaching Greg's 7 covers, 6 won outright. And then that total points is, remember, Brou, how Wilds demanded we change the scoring so he has a better chance? If this year's scoring, we were using the scoring system moving to next year, guess what, buddy? You're still getting curb stomped by Coaching Greg.
But when I talk, I'm right half the time.
Sure.
Let's go.
Neither one of those makes me feel better.
I know, Brou, you're having a tough year.
I honestly like the first. We're changing the rules. I like the first rules.
Again, it just gets a slightly more points for covering but not winning. But Brou, we did go full into the upset alert archives, and it did remind us of a record that is still seemingly untouchable.
Oh, yeah. It's like
2023.
Yes.
2023. You got 10 outright winners. Right now, Coach and Greg are running away with it with 6 outright winners.
You're unbelievable then.
2023.
Yeah, I've rested on my laurels.
Yeah.
I got to get
Coach
the hunger
is
back.
not here. He's celebrating Christmas with his family, but he did send in his upset alert. Take a listen.
Hey guys, I know I'm not with you today, but I wanted to make sure that I got my upset alert pick in because I'd imagine that in the bylaws there's some rule where if Greg and I don't make a pick, we forfeit. Just like must win, the rules change a little bit to put us at a disadvantage. So I wanted to make sure that I got my pick in, and this was challenging but consistent. I was initially going to go with the Dolphins upsetting Tampa Bay, but I'm going to stay in the NFC South, and I'm going with Carolina over Seattle. 7-point dogs, another big win. Carolina's been great to us all season long. I think they've produced a significant amount of our points, and I think they're going to produce a significant amount of points here this weekend. It's another West Coast team having to deal with essentially a 10 a.m. kickoff, which I think is going to be a lot more challenging than they expect. And I imagine they feel that Carolina is a good team, but they don't think that Carolina is the type of team that can hang with them. So I like the Panthers for another upset and for us to run away from Brou and Wilds even a little bit further.
Shouldn't be able to pick the same team twice.
A Survivor?
He's picked them several times.
A Survivor edition style upset.
That's the only reason they're good.
How many rules do we need to change for you to feel like you can win?
You just shouldn't be able to pick the Panthers 3 times, especially when I want to pick the Panthers.
By the way, while I appreciate Coach sending us that video,
yes,
I did see him live on First Things First Overtime Special Edition, and then live on the Herd. So, Coach,
yeah, you could have done it.
You could have just popped on.
Great point.
I mean,
excellent.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I understand.
I think he should be docked a few points.
Wow.
At least 1 point.
Wow.
Live show. All right, Brou. Do you believe in this one or not? Not really.
I'm getting out on a limb a little bit.
Okay, let's see.
I think there's a possibility, Nick. The Indianapolis Colts over the Jacksonville Jaguars. You guys know I'm a big believer in due dates. All right?
Yes.
Indy is due for a win. They've lost 5 straight.
Yep.
Jacksonville due for a loss. It could be a good loss. Like, you love good losses.
It's the same reason why Jacksonville won, because the Broncos, you predicted were due for a loss.
We're due, right? So it works. I also think, Nick, Indy is a solid team that's going to be like, you know what? Old man Phillip Rivers came out of retirement, sitting on his couch, coaching high school kids to play for us. We let him down by not winning enough to get into the playoffs. Let's send him out with a bang. They play Houston next week. I think Houston, that could be a dangerous game for Phillip Rivers because they're going to get a pass rush. So I think they're going to go out there, send him out with a good win. Jonathan Taylor, look, I know Jacksonville has a great run defense, best in the league. I'm going to say it. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to have another great game.
Wow.
He hadn't rushed for 100 yards in like 6 weeks or something like that. And so I think he's going to, whether he does it with the run or maybe with the pass or receptions, but I think he's going to have a big game. I'm going to say with the run. So I got Indy in this one. It's a, what is it, 5.5 points?
So it'd be 8.5 pointer.
I would like that.
KW, what do you think of Brou's bottom line there?
Old Man Rivers ends the Prince's fairy tale run. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
A lot of puns up in there.
Suppose you're traveling for Christmas. You're at the airport. You look up. This show seems interesting. What is that? What are you talking about? Just straight up, the Colts might beat the Jags. Right on the
Colts
bottom
over
line.
Jags.
Yeah.
Period.
I think we have to have.
That's a good point.
In all seriousness, we have to just have the show be a little bit more straightforward and serious if we want to take the next step. Time now for the Puxatawny Phil of football. Make his upset alert. Why do they call it Puxatawny? Okay, I cannot feel absurd. He lives in a log, he's saying? No, it's just a coincidence. We actually. Can I have another beer, please? Delayed. Texans straight up over the Chargers. This is a simple one. No, you don't think so?
No, I'll let you finish.
I thought it was an easy.
That's why it's only a point and a half.
For a few reasons. One, I've seen these teams play before in the wild card, and guess what? Justin Herbert didn't do well at all. He had 4 interceptions and a passer rating south of 41. Okay, well, certainly things have gotten better, right? That offensive line is all shorn up, and Justin Herbert is nice and cozy in his bed. Well, you know, I'm kind of like trying to make a night before Christmas joke. It turns out not so much. Joe Alt, although he is a Pro Bowler, since he played 6 games, is not there to protect Justin Herbert, and it's been pretty bad. He's gotten sacked 49 times. He's been hit 121 times. He's been pressured 252 times, which is 37 more than anyone else and the most in the NFL. Now you're going up against a defense that I saw haunt Josh Allen and give him one of the worst games of all time. He has a decent offensive line. So the Chargers offense is middle of the pack, and Justin Herbert does what he can. And the Texans defense is absolutely excellent. Oh, but Wilds, didn't you see Justin Herbert against the Cowboys? I did. J.J. McCarthy also lit up the Cowboys. Lots of people light up the Cowboys. It's not a big deal. Didn't you see him beat the Eagles? Yeah, he had a horrible game against the Eagles. Completed 46% of his passes. I think an amazing defense against a patchwork offensive line, and Justin Herbert, who's playing great. That being said, Texans straight up over Justin Herbert. So, that's a good one.
Here's why I gave that look. How is your pick not the Eagles?
I would love to parlay a few picks if you'd let me.
No, but you can't say it's I wouldn't get as many points. They're also 1.5-point dogs.
Honestly, the only reason. Well, two reasons. One, we just talked about the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I felt same about both.
Oh, okay.
2, although I don't live by the comments, people have told me you pick against the Bills every week. Every week. I just keep picking against the Bills.
All right, fair enough.
I took the feedback.
KW?
It's time now for Nick's Picks. Red hot. We told you 3-0 week.
Red hot.
And it came through.
3-0 week, which puts us back above 500 before the playoffs begin.
That's great.
Within striking distance of Danny Parkins. Picked the Titans, getting 3 against Kansas City. Said they'd win outright. They did. Took the Jags, getting 3.5 against Denver. Said they'd win outright. They did. Took the Patriots, getting 3 against Baltimore. That one was dicey for a bit, but said they'd win outright. Yep. They did. Puts us 4-1 on the locks. It also was the culmination of our show, Upset Alert, Parkins picks, my picks, all of it going 9-0.
Wow.
Which sadly, I can announce, can't happen this week.
Oh, no.
Because we are in direct conflict on one of these picks.
Not mine. Mine's flawless.
Jags, laying 5.5. Due dates.
Can't quit.
Brou is banking on the maternity ward. I'm banking on the Prince. And here's another important wrinkle, Brou. The Texans play Saturday night. I know Wild just told us he thinks they're going to win. If they do win, the Colts season's over. Then the Colts wake up, they're watching football Saturday night, Texans win. What the hell are we playing for?
Yeah.
Just to watch the Prince with his gorgeous hair throw 5 more touchdowns on us? That ain't great. So Jags are red hot. Indy's lost 5 in a row. And you know why? Because they're not very good right now.
Though.
This team, on the other hand, is still alive for the 1 seed. I don't mind laying the 5.5 points on a fast track indoors. Give me the Jags cruise. 31-20 over the Indianapolis Colts. That's a cover. Next. Now listen, taking the Steelers -3. Do I love that if Baltimore loses Saturday night, the Steelers don't need this game? I don't love that.
Eek, I hate that.
Yeah.
Here's why I don't mind it so much. Don't get mad at me, Brou. Even if that happens, and they sit Aaron, Mason Rudolph against Shedeur.
Ouch.
I don't mind Mason in that spot.
Look at that weather. Mason can't handle that.
I
wants no parts.
the Steelers, if the Ravens somehow win, and by the way, Jordan Love is out, then the Steelers have to have this game. So if the Ravens win, I feel great about this pick. Even if they lose, I still feel like the Steelers' resting players can beat the Browns by at least 3 points. It's a tricky one, but I'm going Steelers -3. And last but not least, I don't care that we just talked about it. I'm trying to win bets. The Bills, 1.5 favorites. As I said, they've won 15 of 16 at home. They are a prolific running team. Philly's only defensive weakness is its run defense. They're going to be able to run all over Philadelphia. Josh Allen, it's almost January, which means it is time for someone to write the column. You know what? Stats be damned.
That's right.
Josh Allen's the league's most valuable player.
There's no one more valuable.
Right, and so that can only happen if on America's Game of the Week on Fox,
That's right.
he lights it up. So last week, after going with 3 underdogs, this week, 3 favorites. The Prince and the Jags laying 5.5. The Steelers laying 3, and Josh Allen and the Bills laying 1.5. That's a 3-0 week. KW, you got a question for me?
I don't have a question. If Mason Rudolph does get in this game, Dusty and Hubs are going to go crazy with the pun. So I'm hoping Aaron Rodgers stays.
But you do have a question for me. You have to ask me which of those picks is...
Oh, I'm sorry. Which is the lock?
Again, I don't do locks, but since you forced my hand, the Jags -5.5. Sorry, bro.
You know what the ultimate compliment to Phillip Rivers is? That he's 49 years old and you don't even mention him as a part of the storyline. That the Jags defense is going up against a 50-year-old man. Guy's 65 years old.
He's looked good.
He looks great, but it should be part of the analysis.
Yes,
Oh, what is the grade? Find out next. Are you into this or not?
I'm very much into it.
Okay, good.
Shopify's point-of-sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/Spotify. Shopify.com/Spotify.
Sunday, Phillip versus the Prince. And then in America's Game of the Week. I didn't love this. Potential Super Bowl preview. I mean, it's good for the promo, but...
What? Why do you like that?
I don't, Patriots.
The Eagles are your pick.
I know, but not the Bills in the AFC.
But you're picking the AFC's dead. It's the Ravens.
Sunday on Fox. I have to amend that.
Yeah, you got your AFC pick.
Welcome back to the show. Cowboys lit up the scoreboard yet again, and the defense was just good enough. Dak throws 2 TDs, including this bomb to Cavante Turpin. Cowboys win this one 30-23. Largely irrelevant game. Brou, what grade are you giving Dallas?
Well, you said it, Wiles. Largely irrelevant grade. So a lot of people want me to give the Cowboys points for just showing up. For not mailing it in, right? Meaningless game. Why you even playing Dak? Oh, wow. Let's give Dak some credit for playing, right? And they did look pretty good.
People were saying that.
Who were saying
that? People were saying that around.
Right.
Well, you're out of it. You got a quarterback who's had some injury issues, but he wanted to go out there and strap it on, the chin strap. So, all right, look, they jumped out to a 21-3 lead, so that was impressive. All right, Dak did show up, threw for 307, 2 touchdowns. Malik Davis, it wasn't my man Javonte. It was Malik Davis, over 100 yards rushing, and there was a George Pickens sighting. 4 catches, almost 80 yards. He looked good, right? All right. But they were playing the Washington Commanders not just without Jaden Daniels, their starting quarterback, not just without Marcus Mariota, their backup quarterback, but someone named Josh Johnson starting that quarterback.
Okay.
Nick just completely dismissed.
He's not okay.
Yeah, Nick just dismissed him a few segments ago. He's 39.
Yeah.
Wasn't really all that at
25 teams.
All right.
Yeah, veteran experience.
Okay.
I give him credit, though, for getting out there. But still, I can't give the Cowboys too much credit for beating a team in that bad a shape. But I won't dismiss them. I will give them a
roller coaster.
B for blah. B for blah. Okay. What you think I should have gave him an A?
No, B for blah.
It's just a great performance as always. I felt similarly as Brou did about the game, which is I was not that interested in it, but we owe it to our audience to grade every game this season, so we have to do this.
Promise we made.
So can I want to pivot this a bit.
Sure.
The Cowboys have one major decision this offseason, and it's will they or will they not pay George Pickens.
Oh.
And I am curious where right now you guys stand. You seem like Wild's like it's.
I thought you were talking to Eberflus.
Oh, do they change coaching staffs? I don't know. I guess
personnel.
I shouldn't have said it's the only major decision they have, but
I think that's a good.
As far as like free agent, like pending, we know Aubrey's a pending free agent. We know they want him back. That one's bring back Brandon Aubrey is very simple. You make him the highest paid kicker ever and sign him for as long as he'll agree to sign to. That's fine.
Yeah.
Pickens will be a polarizing decision, and I thought it was noteworthy that, like you said, he did have a bit of a bounce back game after. Couple games ago was really rough. Last game, a little hit and miss. Obviously, it was a prolific connection. Mm-hmm. I do think there is legitimate worry that, man, if he couldn't keep it all the way together in the final weeks of a contract year, how will he be if he gets paid like he's a superstar receiver? And so I don't know where you guys stand on it.
Well, here's where I stand. The first time you presented this, I think a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned, do they want to not use a franchise tag on Pickens and use it on Aubrey?
Yeah.
I'm not using a franchise tag on Aubrey. I'm paying him. Like you said, I mean, this dude is phenomenal.
Yes.
So I am giving him a contract.
Yeah.
Long-term contract, you're staying here. That allows me to use the franchise tag on Pickens because I don't want to give him a long-term deal yet.
But don't you think that if you franchise tag Pickens and don't extend him, it's going to be a mess?
If it is, then I know I'm not signing this guy long-term. And if it gets too bad, I'll let him go. I'll release him. So I'm taking that risk because I'd rather do that than give him 4 years, $100 million or whatever it would be, and then I regret that. So.
Do you think it would be strange if I was Jerry Jones? I said, you know, George, you're George Pickens in this role play. You played great. We think that you're a number one guy somewhere.
He was the one that made the Pro Bowl, not CD.
But not for us probably, and you did a fantastic job outside of the time you quit on the team in some routes. But we don't think, you know, being a 2 is really your destiny. Also, you know, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, that didn't really work. T and Jamar works, but it feels like they should have spent some more money on the defense.
A.J. Brown, Devontae has worked.
Works outside of the constant stress about where the ball's going to be.
Yeah.
That's just him.
I don't know. I just don't know what's the shining symbol of 2 amazing number one guys getting paid at top of the market.
Paying 2 receivers typically has not worked out for teams that have done it. The Eagles have made it work, but they also got Devontae on an insane deal. And, you know, their issues have been separate. So I get it. You guys know where I stand. I think that I wouldn't pay George Pickens. I know what the talent is. I wouldn't. If I'm trying to win a championship, I don't think talent is enough to overcome the other stuff with him. Looked like this year he was going to prove he was a new man and just couldn't hold water quite long enough.
It's shocking, too, that he did that.
Yeah. Bears 49ers. Caleb off a heroic victory against the Packers. Brock off of a 5-touchdown performance against the Colts. Brou, who do you expect to have the more impressive game here?
Look, both players are cooking. No question about it. Now, differently, because Brock cooks, or it has been throughout the entire game, and Caleb, we know, does it at the end. He was bad, terrible, for the first, 3.5 quarters last week against Green Bay. and then was heroic at the end. And he's had several games like that. So I do think he could end up being heroic. If they win, I think it'll be because he did something special at the end of the game. But throughout the 4 quarters, like, I expect San Francisco to build a decent lead because Purdy has played well throughout the game and Caleb hasn't. And this game is in San Francisco. Caleb is a different quarterback at home and on the road. Look at these numbers. The road, that's a bad passer rating. Completion percent, he's not great with that anywhere. But the interceptions, which he doesn't throw a lot of, for him to throw 5 on the road is a high number.
It's also surprising because normally when you see those splits, it's because a guy's home games are in a dome. It's because it's not like Soldier Field or is a quarterback
even the sacks.
haven.
Look at that, which he's done a great job.
And I wonder how much of that is the noise on, one of the issues he had certainly early in the year has been kind of the operation, pre-snapping and everything done. I wonder how much of that is the noise on the road, further distracts it. I really trust Kyle Shanahan against overmatched defenses. And I think the Bears defense is a little overmatched in this spot. And I also think that the Bears' offensive game plan is going to be to run the ball as much as possible and try to take advantage of some of the Niners' injuries. But I think that there will be Niners players running open far more than there will be Bears players running open. And so I think that Purdy could have a really good stat line. Now, the Bears have made their money by turning you over.
Yep.
And Purdy, the last few years, has been a guy who will throw some balls in
early this season, especially when he wanted to show something.
Will put the ball in jeopardy. And so this could, I think Purdy is more likely to have an A+ game than Caleb, and I think Purdy's more likely to have an F game.
An F game?
No, I'm saying if one of the two quarterbacks has an awful game, Purdy would be my pick. If one of the two quarterbacks has an awesome game, Purdy would be my pick for that as well. I know those sound in conflict, but I don't think they actually are. I just think he'll be the higher variance quarterback in this
Rome
game.
Odunze out again this game.
Yeah.
Phillip versus the Prince. Jags at Colts. Sunday at 1 on Fox. Trevor just lit up the vaunted Broncos defense, but as Brou mentioned, it's due for a loss. Now he's in Indy against a defense that gave up 5 touchdowns to Brock. What would another monster game mean for the Prince?
If he has another monster game and they get to 12-4 with a Titans game in week 18 on deck, they're going to be a 13-win team. He is going to have had Pro Bowl caliber numbers, even though he didn't make it, because his numbers and Justin Herbert's are basically identical. And I think that if he and Justin Herbert's numbers are identical right now, and Herbert has the Texans and Broncos left, and he has Colts, Titans, we're saying if he has a monster game, then he'll really outstrip them there. I think that, and this has not actually been a team in years past that has done anything. The late charging team that, nobody wants to play, like the Browns a couple years ago were that team. But I think that's who the Jags will be. I think a lot of shows on Monday will say, who I could see coming out of the AFC? The Jacksonville Jaguars. And by the way, I think that'll be legitimate. I think that I understand I might be the wrong messenger on this because I've always, even when there's not been a lot of evidence to back it up, I've believed in the Prince's talent. But he does all of a sudden bring a lot of experience to play coming these playoffs. So, not just that he's been to the playoffs for, but that he's got 80-some starts under his belt. He's dealt with real adversity and real success. And if he is playing his best ball when you know what the raw talent is, plus Etienne playing the best of his career, and Liam Cohen, I think, really feeling himself, I think that's a dangerous team.
I think they're dangerous. Even if they lose this game, which I predicted, I think they're dangerous in these playoffs. That said, a great game by the Prince. Look, I don't think most people, including myself, will ever like fully be like, okay, he's arrived until he does it. I'm not saying they have to get to the Super Bowl, but till he,
has
plays
a full
well
year
in the playoffs. Yeah. If he ends the season strong and plays well in a game or two in the playoffs and they lose, then I'll believe, okay, next year he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. But if he doesn't, if he struggles, like these last 4 games, we know he's been great. 14 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers, I believe.
Yep.
But the 3 games before that,
he was really struggling.
He threw 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And we've seen him, as you've reminded us, that was second year. He was 7th in MVP voting. So he won a playoff game, played well, and then fell off again. So I think we are still in that stage of prove it.
I agree with that.
And so another game would just be building more towards us really.
If he has a great game, would he crack your top 7 MVP ballot?
Well, I had him 5th on Brou's ballot last week.
You didn't want to
top
say
7.
anything smart-ass about the city of Jacksonville there, buddy?
Life hack. What's your New Year's resolution? Eat more vegetables? Here's what you do. Say, my New Year's resolution is to watch the Holiday Bowl. Number 17, Arizona against SMU next Friday, January 2nd. Boom. January 3rd, you did it.
Great one.
Only on Fox. Welcome back to First Things First. Free game, they call that. Ravens at Packers Saturday night. First Things First Bowl 5. Bru's Super Bowl matchup.
Finally win one.
You're going to win, but unfortunately,
watch them tie.
Yeah.
You will keep your losing streak intact, most likely as well, but you will get a W Saturday 8 p.m. Ravens in a literal must-win. No Lamar. Jordan Love also ruled out. They need to win this game to set up a win in your in-game against the Steelers, but Lamar's doubtful. Brou, your reaction to Lamar probably not playing.
I mean, look, I've been listening to John Harbaugh lately, and first he talked about it like it was just a bruise. Then he came back and talked about it being like a deep bone bruise. He used the word contusion and how it stiffens up and limits you. I mean, it really sounded like something that could keep somebody out. So after that, I'm not that surprised. Disappointed because this is look, they could beat, Jordan Love is out.
Yeah.
Malik Willis is playing. They could beat them with Tyler Huntley. I give them, if that's the case, I give them a good chance to win anyway. But it'd be great if Lamar could play because I really think they could win. But if he's limited, look, if you think you can beat him with Huntley, you do that. You give him an extra week. I know this is not the game you play, but if he's really hurt, maybe another week he'll be better. And then if you have a winner-takes-all game against Pittsburgh, you feel all right about it.
Are you at all surprised, if he is out, that he does not give this game a go? Even if it's like, well, I'm going to try. And then if after a couple series or even one series I'm not doing it, then Huntley goes in. I don't question his toughness. But if it's stiffening up, and I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but if it is stiffened, he can't move even close to what he usually does, then I think you go with
He said he
Huntley.
couldn't throw in the Patriots game.
So
look again.
So here is
the way Harbaugh described it is.
So,
is
but
really
here is, and so if people didn't see it, here's what Harbaugh said on Monday, after the Patriots game. They had played Sunday night, the Monday press conference when he was asked about Lamar Jackson and his health. Here's what Harbaugh said.
Contusion to the back. Nothing. It doesn't look like it's more than that, but obviously those are painful and tough. So he's in there getting treatment now, and he's listed this day-to-day by treatments as it stands.
Had he had the MRI at that point?
Yeah, he said he's had an MRI, and it's painful. He went on further. It felt to me like on Monday, John Harbaugh thought that by Saturday Lamar would be playing, and that does not mean that Lamar should be playing. That's not what I'm saying. But it is another instance to me of why I would think if you thought there was any chance that he was going to miss the following week, you would call him week to week. He says he's day-to-day. Had an MRI, it all looked okay, and then he explained further that, that it's a bad, worse than a Brou, like contusion, but worse than that. And it's just, it is very difficult for me not to look at as the article talked about, the last time Lamar was in a contract negotiation, Harbaugh not having, his arms around his health status at the end of the year, and now what is now 7 weeks in a row where for different reasons, literally for 7 different reasons, he has missed practice. He missed practice and that's not even counting when he was out, with the hamstring. So I guess it's 10 weeks in a row he's missed some practice, but since being back from the hamstring, he has missed a practice with a sore hamstring, then a knee, then an ankle, then a toe, then a rest day, then an illness, and then a back injury.
Correct.
So there is so much smoke surrounding what is going on with Lamar, Harbaugh, and the Ravens that it is impossible for me to believe there is not a fire there somewhere. Now, that does not mean that I think Lamar, is...
It seems like he's really, this is, we saw this injury, or this hit, the knee to the back. So this feels...
But and I think because we saw it, it's adding to my feelings on it. Because that did not... I don't think any of us, when we saw that, were like, man, we might not see Lamar again this season.
But there are a lot of injuries like that. Where, the hit or something doesn't look all that bad. I can't question that. I can't question, and
I guess I'm not trying to...
Because remember, we thought when he went out against the Chiefs, it was like, when did he pull the hamstring? Right. He did sit out the next 3 weeks, so it must have been legit.
And I'm not trying to... I guess I am questioning it to a degree. What I'm really questioning is why the head coach of the Ravens did not know 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours after the injury happened that it was bad enough that he might not be playing this week. Because I don't think you give that press conference if you know that.
I know you're trying to explain it with nuance and not question anyone's kindness. What we're not hearing from Harbaugh is I have to protect Lamar from himself, certainly.
Yeah.
He wants to be out there, but
we're not letting.
We got to defer to the doctors here. He's pounding on the door trying to get in and practice. It's
not hearing that.
Herbert-esque.
And same thing when he was hurt before, and Munkin's like, you got to trust the player.
Live from New York, it's a show that's thanking Danny Parkins for doing his second show of the day.
No problem.
You were on from 10 to 12. And this is overtime. Double overtime.
Double overtime. First show Nick and I ever hosted together in college called the Double Overtime.
Oh, that's true. At WAER.
That's right.
It's called double overtime?
Yeah, because overtime was after the basketball, football, and lacrosse games. Overtime was the immediate post-game reaction. And the double overtime was the call-in show. And that's what we hosted.
You guys did that about lacrosse?
Yeah. We
were not qualified.
We had to do post-game call-in shows for lacrosse games that sometimes were road games that were only on the radio. So we had to listen to students call a lacrosse game and then field calls on it and do analysis.
Oh, yeah.
What was Johnson doing in
Syracuse's midfield attack?
Yeah, for real.
Move the ball, Pat Parrott.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Do the air gate.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that.
Yeah.
You talk with such conviction.
First
Humble beginnings.
Double overtime
Learn from that,
right now today.
Learn from that.
Can Caleb keep up with Brock Purdy? And again, we're a segment within a segment called Danny's Guarantees. Meanwhile, special episode of Frenemies.
That's right.
Lamar, doubtful. Can the Ravens win with Tyler Huntley? We discussed. But right now, we're headed to the NBA. We went from, are the Thunder one of the best teams ever? To, are the Thunder even better than the Spurs? San Antonio has beaten the Thunder 3 times in 12 days and have won 10 of their last 11. Here's Wemby. Take a listen.
Definitely learned a lot. This is like a playoff series. We played them 3 times in, I don't know, it's been like 10 days maybe. So we learned a lot on the tactical side. But I think I don't want to say too much about it. I want to keep some for us. But we definitely got some intelligence, of course, after playing him so much.
This guy, love it. Don't you dare, because someone said that in the NFL, and you were like, "Thank you for the intel." The Bills Chiefs or something.
That's right. Yeah, Bills.
Oh
Chiefs,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What do you mean? Don't I dare? I didn't even.
You
do
just
anything.
become the anti-Wemby guy.
I'm not
And he said, "I'm keeping the tactical
God.
advantages to myself, like you like."
No, yes. You know what I like even more?
What?
Not going a step further, where you don't even reveal. Oh yeah, we have solved some things, but I just if that's the case, you don't even say it. That's all.
He did. He was like, "Ooh."
But it's fine. No, listen. I understand
Nick
this.
Wemby's greatness or future greatness does not take away from LeBron.
It has nothing to do. I am
doesn't.
so.
I said he could be the GOAT. Ain't that away from
I'm
Michael
not
Jordan's
worried.
greatness?
I just want him to play 35 minutes a game for 60 games before he starts, gracing us with his NBA wisdom. That's all. That's all. But listen,
He's a
it's not even
prodigy.
the topic.
Prodigies are.
He is a
That's
prodigy.
right.
That is true.
Danny, what was your number one takeaway from this game?
Well, so like you guys, we can't just hand the Thunder the title, right?
Yes,
I think that is like an
thankfully.
obvious macro NBA. Okay, we can watch the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like just as a sport, like, June is not ruined. Like I think that is like the first thing that is fairly obvious. And then the quote there, we have to be open to the possibility that Wemby knows what he's talking about.
Love it.
Like he talks a big game, and I know you hate this, but when he said that they play this like beautiful, pure brand of basketball, and he says that they have this tactical knowledge that they've gained, solving the Thunder is overstating it. But I will say the Thunder's brilliance, and why I disagreed with a little bit what you said earlier about like they aren't more talented, they are one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen. In terms of their top 8 guys are all plus defensive players, right? Like they're all two-way players. And that's just a really impressive thing in the modern NBA that's so offensive dominant. And so they, last year, were the best defense by far. This year, so far, are the best defense by far. Teams are shooting 43% against the Thunder, by far the best in the NBA. When the Spurs beat them to win the NBA Cup, they shot 41% in like
The Spurs.
The Spurs did in like a grinded out game. But that was their first data point to figuring it out.
Right.
The second game they played 2 days ago, they shot 57% from the floor and hung 130 on them.
Blueprint.
Yesterday, 117 from the floor, 54%. No other team this year shot 49% against the Thunder. So the Spurs, by far, twice now in back-to-back games, have had the most efficient offensive production against the best defensive team in the NBA, largely without the prodigy dominating. He's played 70 minutes in 3 games. So I do think we have to be open to the possibility that the only organization that's really in the conversation for as stable and as well-run as the Thunder is the Spurs, that they are smart enough basketball-wise to have solved this chess match.
Well, and I think and you get mad about this with Wemby when he says we play the right way.
Yeah.
They do, though. And I actually want them to go play a little more through Wemby because I want him to put up huge numbers. Now, he's only playing 20 minutes a night right now, so he's putting up huge numbers in 20 minutes. But 5-man basketball is unique in today's NBA. Most teams, 1 or 2 great players creates everything for everybody else. And the Spurs don't play that way. If Keldon Johnson gets it and he sees the lane, he can go to the hole, and he actually did that in this game. And so I think that is part of it, is that everybody has the green light and they got a bunch of blue chippers. You don't think they're more talented than OKC?
I just think 2 ways the number of players that are great defensively on Oklahoma
But
State.
they have outside of Shea, they got nobody like Castle, Harper, and De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Those are 3.
He means they don't have any
talented.
Brou is talking about basically pedigree, like blue chip.
And not even just, but do it like basketball. But look, Jalen Williams is a great player, but I don't want to get hung up on that. But the thought that they're going to get better. Yeah. Because Wemby's only playing 20 minutes a night. Once he's back to 35 minutes a night, I mean, they've been great without him, 9-3. This is what he is to the Spurs. Lest some people think, you know what, they don't even really need Wemby. I mean, his plus minus is plus 180. That's first on. All these are first on the team. The defense rating, the net rating of plus 15. Points per game. Even though his numbers are coming down because he's only playing 20 minutes a night right now. But when he gets back, I mean,
if he's able to get back to playing 35 plus minutes and stay healthy, then we saw game 1 of the season what him at his best can be. We already know he is on a per minute or per game basis the best defensive player in the league. And game 1 of the season, we saw offensively what he is already scratching the surface of. And even in this series, but in this 3-game set they've played, he has been on the court for less than half the minutes, but it's where they've won. And so, if we show you his on-off, or he's been on the court for almost exactly half, they've won his minutes by 47 points. But I also think that column on the right, the fact that in 74 minutes without their best player, the Spurs are almost playing the Thunder even, is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the fact that one of the reasons I believe the Thunder are such a great defensive team is because they just wear you out. I think yes, they're great defenders, but they're also so young and so athletic on both ends of the court that over the course of the game, you just don't have as many legs for your jump shot. You're just, you're not, and the Spurs can match that youth and athleticism in a way not many teams can. We don't really have time to get into it here, but I did save one thing that I just know you will love that I wanted to bring up here.
Great.
So there is a top 15, at least top 20 all-time player who we think
I was going to say
could be traded.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
All right, well then go ahead, say it.
No, I was wondering, do these 3 wins make you think, Giannis, Schmanis?
No, that's not. I'm taking this up further.
Yes, though.
Yeah.
Really?
Hold on.
My only with Giannis is just the injuries.
That's great. That's not where I was going.
Oh, where are you going now?
You know who has a lot of draft picks? Who also could trade for Giannis?
The Thunder?
Yeah.
Oh, buckle up! I didn't see that one coming. We need the Thunder.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Or we need Giannis. Yeah. We're the Thunder.
Yeah. Like I was saying,
they play OKC
at January 12th.
Yeah.
They play January.
Giannis cannot go.
If the Spurs walk through them again, that becomes really interesting.
Oh my goodness!
I knew that one.
Giannis has to reject it.
What do you mean?
Why?
He can't go to the Chiefs.
Kevin Durant went to the Warriors.
How Giannis has marred his legacy.
Yeah, but Giannis could be like, I can't decide where I'm going. I just got traded, first of all. And Giannis has a ring.
That's interesting.
I'm just saying, everyone has thought about the Spurs trading for Giannis to get over the hump or whatever it is.
I just wonder
Sam Presti, because the other thing is, they have too many, at some point, they have this Clippers pick. But you only have so many minutes to play. And you are so deep.
Wow.
I'm just throwing again.
I didn't even think about that. I thought it was just maybe we don't need Giannis.
Listen, I want Giannis in Milwaukee. He's one of my favorite basketball players.
You want him to stay in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's a personal.
And be in the play-in for the rest of his career?
Be Kobe, be Duncan, be Dirk.
Kobe won 5 rings. What are you talking about?
I understand. Just
Dirk.
A guy who played
He's above Dirk, as great as Dirk is.
A guy who played in one place for forever. It's pure.
I'm an old school guy, and that's overrated. We moved on.
I told you would
that
love
was
that.
Excellent.
I told you.
I loved that.
But the Spurs was interesting, too. It's an interesting conversation. We got to do that one day.
Bears and San, we just did it. Bears and San Sunday night, Brock fresh off of 5 touchdowns. Caleb fresh off of a game-ending touchdown and an ice-cold celebration. Here's Kyle, very complimentary of Caleb. Take a listen.
Caleb is one of the best throwers, most athletic quarterbacks I've ever seen in terms of his height, weight, and speed. He makes some big-time throws, extremely scary on the perimeter, can hold on to the ball for a while, not in a bad way, but by creating stuff, which makes coverages have to hold up forever. And when you have a talented guy like that who's got the speed and the size, usually they get a run game, get some bootlegs and play actions off of it. You limit how many times you got to drop back, and it makes sense why he's playing at such a high level.
Segment within a segment, Danny's guarantees. Danny, this was a disaster the first time we did it, but then it's gotten slowly better as Caleb has delivered on your wins. Are you willing to offer up another Caleb guarantee for this game?
Yeah, I don't think this one's that hard. Sure. Caleb outplays Purdy. Not a problem. This game is going to be very high scoring. I think it's a race to 30 points. The Bears' defense, though, is opportunistic. They lead in takeaways. They get takeaways virtually every game. And the Niners' defense, their scoring defensive rank is okay.
He's the 11th, right?
I think it's 12th now after the games.
That's what it matters.
Yeah.
Points.
They have the fewest sacks of any team in football. They have only 6 interceptions this year, second fewest in football to the Jets, who have 0. 29th in completion percentage against, 26th in passer rating against, and they've played nobody. The one team they played in this recent stretch, where they're playing well, the only team with a good offense that they played was the Rams, who scored 42 on them. Their impressive wins are early, before all the injuries set in.
Does that not count?
Well, I'm saying for their defense, for what defense they're putting on the field Sunday night, they have not played good offenses since they've been ravaged by injuries defensively. Caleb will put up a big game on Sunday night. Guaranteed.
Here's the problem. Where's that game at?
The game's in San Francisco.
Your boy's not the same on the road. I'm just facts over feelings. I like Caleb.
Completion percentage at 57.
81, 57%, 81 really passer rating on the road, 5 picks. And he does not. One thing I love about Caleb, he doesn't throw picks, but he's got 5 on the road. How many road games have they played? 7, 8? So he is 16 sacks. He's not the same player on the road. And so, look, and he's also not consistently good. Like, he's great at the end. And I think if they win, I'm picking the Niners, but the Bears could beat them. If the Bears win, it'll be because he has a late surge at the end like he tends to do. But I think Purdy will be better throughout.
So I actually disagree with that part. I think if the Bears win, it'll be because they run all over the Niners throughout the game. Like, I don't think it'll be like a
Philly game.
late
Close game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not quite as dominant as that, but I also think you've been bullied by National Treasure.
What did I do?
Miles. Because you are correct. The first time we did one of these guarantee questions, we only did it because we assumed Danny was going to say yes. He said no, and it was a disaster.
I thought it worked fine.
And now Wilds is just every Friday picking a different thing to make you guarantee.
But this is not that ridiculous. I'll play Brock Purdy.
I think
How many touchdowns Purdy have last week?
5.
Okay.
It's
a big deal. It's interesting because it's
feels
Mr.
like
Relevant.
because tell me if I'm wrong. I'm guessing you are more confident that the Bears win than you are in the Caleb versus Purdy just head-to-head stat test.
But in the me versus Brou, Shador, Caleb bet, we established
You wouldn't even guarantee that.
No, well, I don't remember.
Because you were like, I think they'll win.
But we established that it makes it much tougher for the losing quarterback to dramatically outplay the winning quarterback. So, yeah, I think Caleb is going to win the game. And maybe Purdy will have a counting stat or two in his favor. But Caleb's going to win.
I think
Caleb's going to win and play great. I can't be any clearer than that.
You are making it clear. I think the biggest flaw in your read on it is I think you are overrating the Bears' defense. And I think Shanahan, one thing Purdy has shown, he can put up crazy numbers. You know what I mean? If it's rolling, especially against overmatched defense, vulnerable defense. And now he'll throw some up for grabs, and the Bears have been opportunistic, but that's a hard way to make a living just forcing turnovers. I know they've been doing it all year. Like, I just think Shanahan at home against that defense, that, to your point, race to 30, I think Purdy could have a huge game. Could have a huge game.
And I want to see the Bears in a shootout. Like, that's a fun test. Like, they were dominant wire to wire against Philly, but 24-15. They had a very good complete game against Cleveland, but it was not competitive. Like, I'm here for 35-31.
Well, and this is also a potential playoff preview. Like, if both these teams are alive for the 1 seed, then certainly this game could be the conference championship game.
How good
Nobody thinks it's going to be because I don't think I think most people don't actually think the Niners or the Bears are the best team in the NFC, but both of them are alive to be the number 1 seed in the conference. They're playing in Week 17, so it could be a game we see
both
again in
one
a few
seeds.
weeks.
I don't really view as the 1 seed, except that they're the 1 seeds.
What do you mean?
If it's the 49ers get the 1 seed, or the Seahawks get it, or the Jags get it, or the Broncos get it, I'm like, meh.
That's why everyone feels like it's wide open. The only legit 1 seeds are the Patriots?
Yeah,
that's what really only Patriots
He thinks
and Rams.
Patriots-Rams. He thinks those are
Super Bowl matchup, part 3.
All right, it's time now for a red-hot Parkins picks.
3-0.
I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me.
I'm not scared of picking big games, taking the points with Detroit.
Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
Okay, Parkins picks a fresh 3-0.
You know how they say it's impossible to choose your favorite kid? It's not impossible for me to choose my favorite cover from last week. It was the Bears over the Packers. That was a very enjoyable cover. Pulled that one out of nowhere. 3-0 last week, Nick. 27-21.
pretty lucky 3-0.
I mean,
the Bears
Chargers
pick
were
is
dominant.
a little lucky.
Chargers and Saints were dominant.
And the Bears pick is a little lucky.
Okay, and a couple weeks ago, I had a very unlucky 1-2 when I lost both games by a half point. Everyone remembers that. It's well documented. That's why it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I've been winning the marathon wire to wire. Let's go to Week 17. And we go back to the well with the Bears +3. Am I afraid of picking a game that we were just talking about? No, I heard that earlier in the show. I'm like, that's not a good reason. I'm playing to win. And here's the thing.
Sorry, Wild.
Going
Just catching strays out.
But going a little deeper on this Niners defense. When they play top 20 offenses, that's what they allow. Quarterbacks have a passer rating of 108 against them. They have 6 sacks total against offenses ranked in the top 2/3. Look at that bottom line of the graphic there. They are 8-0, allowing 16.5 points per game against bottom third offenses in the league. They're bum slayers. They've been feasting on the worst offenses. They're a terrible defense. Bears +3. That's easy. Now here is where we've run into a little bit of bad luck. I will admit it. But I will lay the points with the Packers. Unfortunately, I am locked into laying 4.5. It's the one downside of doing 2 television shows in a day, one at 10 in the morning and one at 5 in the afternoon. News changes. And since I laid the 4.5, Jordan Love has been ruled out. Malik Willis is the starter, so I'm now laying a big number with a backup quarterback.
Was it at 2?
It was 3.5. Now it's 4. So worst case scenario.
Well, it might
for
be
me,
backup against backup.
It could be backup against backup. And the truth is, the Ravens have just been bad since Thanksgiving. They've just been bad offensively across the board. Not an impressive unit. And I gotta wonder what it does to the vibes in Baltimore if in a must-win, gotta have it for your season on the line national television game, your quarterback doesn't play with a bad back. Like, what does that say to the rest of the 52 guys on the team? So I'll lay it with Malik Willis, who always wins whenever he plays for the Green Bay Packers. Last but not least, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills laying 1.5 against the Eagles. Eagles, 88% locked in to the 3 seed. They've locked up their division. All of their starter sit guys, they're probably going to be sitting at this point. We got the Lane Johnson news earlier today. But most importantly, this game is in Buffalo. It's probably going to be in the snow. And Josh Allen at home this year, well, he's just the best player in football by a mile. So too many questions with Eagles' health and with the performance of the Eagles' offense. No questions that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will move the ball. So lay 1.5 with the Bills against the Eagles. Nick, I'm sorry to say, looks like another 3-0.
No, 1-2, 2-1 at best. I really think that Packers thing is going to screw you, and you're going to be very bad.
Packers by 4,
Packers
you and I
winning
won't
by
speak
4.
for a while.
You're going to be very upset.
It's gonna be upsetting.
KW.
Couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe
how good the Bills are at home. My goodness. Wow. Number 1 in everything, and you said they don't
lose?
lose?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Oh, yeah.
I can't believe it. That team's unstoppable.
I'm with you, Wiles.
What was that, Dust? Oh, the Patriots. The Patriots were the one loss they had at home in the last 17 games. Okay. Easy schedule, though.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, of course.
Because you said the Eagles are going to win because the Bills are, quote, not good.
I said that accidentally.
You said it
They
repeatedly.
are actually very good, but they certainly can get gashed on the ground.
You said they're not good multiple times. If the Bills beat your Eagles, are you going to, finally, with a week left in the season, come around to the idea that maybe, just maybe, the Bills are excellent.
The Bills are very good.
Don't
get me wrong, the Bills are very good.
Stink earlier.
Up and down, roller coaster.
It's confusing.
It's definitely confusing, just like the Buffalo Bills. Are they good? Wow, they seem unstoppable. Hold on, weren't they just down 21-0? They're horrible in the first half, amazing in the second half. You would think my point doesn't make sense. It's actually the perfect encapsulation of what the Buffalo Bills are. Coming up next, a wonderful episode of Frenemies. I nailed that.
You did. That time it made
What does it
perfect
mean
sense.
if Lamar doesn't play next?
Welcome back. It's a very special Friday edition of Frenemies. What a good friend. Nick staying around a little bit longer to hang out on a Friday. We begin with the Lions. 6 turnovers. Not going to get the job done. But more than the game, the season is over. The Lions officially eliminated from the playoffs. So, Nick, does missing the playoffs close the window on the Lions' title chances completely?
I don't know how open that window ever was. I mean, it certainly closes it for this year. We can agree.
You and I check your math. I get the same. Yeah.
And I know that they have been your margin of victory champs for so many years now.
I've picked them to come out of the NFC 3 years in a row.
Right.
0 for 3.
And I understand that Dan Campbell did change the culture there. There is no denying that. Yeah. There's also no denying that this year is going to be like 29 of the previous 30, which is a Lions season with 0 playoff victories, which includes all of Dan Campbell's seasons except one. They lost as a 1 seed last year that everyone has just retconned themselves into believing was purely because of the defensive injuries rather than partially defensive injuries and partially because Jared Goff had a playoff game last year against Washington, very similar to the game he played last night. And I don't think the Lions have at any point been an A1 team in the league. Now, I think obviously you don't have to be an A1 team to win a Super Bowl. And so in that regard, it's been open. But I haven't the Lions and the Ravens are the 2 teams that in, this mini era of the last 3-4 years, that it seems like the rest of the media has consistently been a grade higher on than I have been. And so I'm surprised they missed the playoffs, but I think I picked them to finish 3rd in that division and make the playoffs. I think I did. I could be wrong. But I didn't look at them the way you and so many others did, and I don't think they are all of a sudden going to be way better next year.
So, listen, the playoff loss last year to Washington, they scored 31 and got blown out. Yes, Goff had multiple turnovers in the game, but you scored 31. It's at least partially due to all the defensive injuries,
sure.
right? They allowed 45 points. You also know that tie for me goes to the offense, and 3 years ago, they were 5th in the NFL in points per game. Last year, they were 1st in points per game. This year, they're 4th in points per game. Without my guy, Ben Johnson, they're still 4th in the NFL in scoring. So they are an elite offense. And losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson mattered. They got so desperate with the offensive line this year that they asked Frank Ragnow to come out of retirement. And then he had a grade 3 hamstring. We were like, maybe a little desperate, like he wasn't able to play. But the reason that I do have faith that they're going to be fine going forward is Brad Holmes, their general manager, seems to be one of the best drafters of talent in the league. Like, this is their core. Jared Goff's 31. This is their guys who are 26 or younger who I would say are excellent.
Yeah.
Top 5 running back, top 5 pass rusher, top 5 tackle, top 5 receiver, a couple of Pro Bowl safeties, and Jameson Williams. Like, honest question. Do 25 teams in the NFL, would they trade their young core for that young core? Like, if you remove quarterback from the equation?
No,
like,
but
it's one of the best young cores in football.
I agree with the young core thing, but I just, and this is where the Ravens and Lions, I guess, have similarities to me, is in this regard. It's for different reasons. But when you say tie goes to the offense, and when we're in an era of maybe more superhuman playing quarterback than ever before, it is so hard for me to believe that a Jared Goff-led team that leads with offense is going to be a Super Bowl favorite when I think he is, compared to the other elite quarterbacks in this league, obviously limited in certain ways. The Ravens are in a different bucket, which is their quarterback ceases to be a superhuman once the playoffs begin. So I think I look around the NFC moving forward. And it's like, okay, Stafford, I don't know how much longer he has, but he's better than Jared Goff. Caleb, I think, is going to be better than Jared Goff. The Eagles have a better roster than the Lions. As good as that Lions roster is, the Eagles are the one team maybe that can say we have a better roster. And so I just don't, I'm not as high on Jordan Love as others, but some people think he has this super high ceiling. To me, they were better than any team in the league over the last few years at annihilating teams not in their weight class. And that, in my opinion, made people overvalue them slightly.
Let's talk about one of those teams that you just mentioned there in passing, the Baltimore Ravens. They know they're playing a backup quarterback. Jordan Love's been ruled out. But Lamar Jackson, with what's listed as a back contusion, listed as doubtful, most likely will not play. And if they lose this game to the Packers, they're eliminated. What would it mean if Lamar misses the game?
I think it would mean that the Lamar Harbaugh Ravens relationship is over. Somebody's gone. And I have been more than hinting at this all year, and it hasn't been blind speculation. There's been a lot of evidence that the one quarterback in the league whose head coach seemingly has no idea what his day-to-day health status is Lamar Jackson with John Harbaugh. And this was John Harbaugh on Monday, after the Sunday night game where we saw Lamar get kneed in the back. And we'll play the audio. Does this sound like a coach who thinks his quarterback is not going to play in their upcoming game?
Lamar has a back contusion, painful, certainly. Saw him in here getting treatment this morning and this afternoon early. And he'll be working. He's been classified as day-to-day on that. Nothing beyond a contusion, but I don't want to minimize the severity and the pain level of that because it's legit, and that's where it stands.
Like that, this is so weird. And then when you add to it the article that came out that we talked about a couple days ago, it just seems like this relationship and I don't know who's to blame here, but it has run its course. And I don't think it's tenable to be the head coach of an NFL team and not have a real confidence level of, is your starting quarterback going to practice any given week? And is your starting quarterback are you and he going to be able to have an open communication about his level of injury and whether or not he should be available to play in your upcoming game?
Yeah, listen, I'm with you, man. I think it's odd and puts guys who look like you and me in a weird spot when we're like, what's going on with this guy's injury? Because we are not tough and they are, obviously.
I mean, I did the show the day after I got my arm snapped in half.
I'm not
a pro athlete.
You're not.
But go ahead.
You're not tough.
Ahead.
We can tell the full story at some point. I'm shocked he's not playing.
Yeah.
If you lose the game, you are eliminated. It is the definition of win or go home. There is no tomorrow, all of that stuff. And your team is listing it as a bruise. They have all sorts of ways to make bruises not hurt for temporary amounts of time. I did the show earlier today, as was mentioned. Willie Colon was like, he owes it to his team to be out there and give it a go. And if he can't finish, that's one thing, but he owes it to his team to start. I'm floored by this, and I do wonder what the ramifications are, for Lamar and Harbaugh, but also just for the rest of the guys in the locker room being like, wait, what? You're not playing in this game?
And the other piece of that article from the Baltimore Sun from Mike Preston I thought was noteworthy was him talking about the Ravens and Lamar are negotiating again. And the last time the Ravens and Lamar were negotiating, Lamar missed the end of the season with an injury that every week John Harbaugh thought he'd be back from.
Oh, right, yeah.
And earlier this year, John Harbaugh was asked, what's going to be different with your team after the bye? And he said, we'll have our quarterback back. And they didn't. This is not sustainable, flatly. And I do think there are certain athletes that it's not a toughness question. It's a comfortability playing if you don't feel like you can be at your best. That's not a pain threat. That's a different thing. And Brou talks with this. That's who Kawhi has always been. as a for instance. It's not that Kawhi's not tough. It's that Kawhi, the Spurs would tell you if he didn't feel right, he just wasn't going to play. I don't think that really works as an NFL quarterback. And Lamar, what is the toughest piece of this is Lamar has been incredibly durable except for the years he wasn't. I know that sounds ridiculous, but he doesn't. You don't look at his Pro Football Reference page like, oh, he missed week 7 this year and week 10 this year. It's the end of 2021 he missed, the end of 2022, and then this year. And all 3 of those years, he was in a contract negotiation. And that, to me, feels odd. And the fact that Harbaugh or Monken or anyone have made it clear at various points this season that, you've got to listen to the player. What they're not saying is, we're not letting him play. Or, you know what I mean? That he's dying to get out there, but we're not going to clear him. All of that is weird, and the fact that the Ravens' season's on the line and he might not play is even weirder.
Tyler Huntley against Malik Willis with the season and seeding on the line, just like they drew it up. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. I know you'll love this one coming up. Does Justin Herbert have enough to overcome the Texans'
I'm glad I'm
defense?
Not this one.
Stick around if you want.
I'm not.
Willie Cologne's coming up. Massive games coming up this weekend, so it's time for an old school game of Who You Got. Willie Cologne and I go through the biggest games of the NFL weekend. Let's get right to it. What's first?
Eagles at Bills Sunday on Fox. Who you got?
Oh, voice of God with the big on Fox promo.
Big bass in the voice.
Gotta love it. Listen, this was a part of my picks. I've got the Bills. I laid the 1.5 as an official Parkins pick. Josh Allen at home has been unbeatable. He's been the best home quarterback in football. Eagles are virtually locked in to the 3 seed. Now, while the Bills probably are not moving up because the Patriots, I don't expect them to lose to either the Jets or the Dolphins in the next 2 weeks. They at least still, in theory, have their division hopes to play for. We saw the Lane Johnson news earlier. We don't know yet about Jalen Carter. I think the Bills are overall the healthier team, so I'm going with Buffalo in this spot.
Yeah, the Eagles still have a chance to fight for the 2 seed, and I think that's important.
Outside shot, yeah.
Outside shot, but it's a shot. Nevertheless, man, I think it's about Jalen Hurts raising his level of play, because we know what Josh Allen looks like. We know the offense for the Bills goes through James Cook. But I think if you're the Eagles right now, can you get Saquon Barkley going? Can you get this offensive line in rhythm? And can you see Jalen Hurts put on the cape, especially late in games when they got to have it moments? I like the Eagles because I like how they responded last week against the Commanders. Yes, it was the Commanders, but you needed to see the little get back. They were able to do that. And I once again, I felt like Jalen Hurts, man, he seems fiery this time of year. I watched him yell out his offensive line, get into it on the sideline. He's trying to pull the wagon, man, and he needs to do that rolling into January.
I think Saquon looks great. Saquon easily could run on the Bills' defense. I think the Bills will run on the Eagles' defense. It's going to be a
tight one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, point and a half spread would say it. The thing that would be the biggest statement for me is if the Eagles' defense can shut down Buffalo. That would be a huge statement. What's the next matchup?
Texans at Chargers. Who you got?
So much is talked about this Texans defense, and rightfully so. They allowed the fewest points per game, fewest yards per game. You know about Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, who are absolute animals on the edges. But I got to call out C.J. Stroud, because we know what Justin Herbert is capable of. You know what he can do. Can C.J. Stroud step up and really run this offense? You know the defense is going to give you a lot of chops at the apple, where you're going to have multiple options of throwing the ball and running the ball. But can C.J. Stroud really be big in a moment? The game is really in his hands, because I expect this Texans defense to be money good, but can the Chargers step up? Can C.J. Stroud step up?
And you've got the Texans.
Yeah.
I've got the Chargers, and yes, I'm a Herbert guy. Both of these defenses can rush the passer. Yes, the Texans are better at it, but the Chargers are top 10. So let's just look at how these quarterbacks do against top 10 pass rushes in terms of top 10 sack rates. Justin Herbert, he's the pilot that you want through turbulence. Like, he still puts up points, 3-0, but he's been sacked 12 times against these types of defenses. C.J. Stroud really struggles under pressure. Man, yeah. Like, he needs to be a clean pocket. I did not think Stroud looked good last week. He was good against the Cardinals. I don't think he's been good recently. So I think both defenses will make an impact. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I just trust Justin Herbert to get it done a little bit more. He's been dealing with it all year. What's next?
Bears at 49ers. Who you got?
I'm going to shock nobody here. I am going to take the Chicago Bears. And again, I will say it every time this game comes up. I think the Niners defense is not as good as their 12th ranked scoring defense would indicate. And since they have been decimated by injuries, they have not played good offenses. And the one offense they played that was good scored 42 on them. Like Phillip Rivers carved them up last week.
Yes.
Their offense was just better. The Titans ran for nearly 7 yards per carry against them a couple of weeks ago. I think the Bears will control the ball. I think it's a race to 30. To be clear, I think the Niners are going to score too, but I think Caleb is playing great. The play calling, I think Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan are both excellent. I just think the Bears' defense is more opportunistic, and they'll get a takeaway or two to be the difference.
Yeah, it's the kid versus the machine. I think Caleb Williams right now has been playing the cleaner brand of football. Valid Brock Purdy had the big game against the Colts where he had 5 touchdowns. But I think Caleb right now has, week after week, gotten better. And I think because they can run the ball and have some stability within the offense and they control the clock, I think right now it comes to Caleb playing all four quarters clean, And I also think right now, if you're the Bears and you feel like you have a chance, go after them early, man. Don't let the Niners stick around and wait around because they have a quarterback. And who knows what George Kittle looks like. I know he's dealing with the ankle right now. But if you're the Bears, have some killer instinct. You're going to need it.
And see, that's the thing. The Bears, that game against the Packers, they were not consistent. The first game against the Packers, they were not consistent.
Yeah.
But they were consistent against the Eagles on Black Friday. They were consistent against the Browns 2 weeks back. So I do think that's getting a little overstated just because we all watched them do it against the Packers. And again, the Niners against, I did it during Parkins picks, but the Niners against top 20 offenses this year, opponents have a passer rating of 108 against them. They have been feasting on bad offenses.
Sure.
So again, to be clear, race to 30. Because I don't think the Bears defense is very good either. They just get takeaways. I think this is going to be a shootout.
But they get takeaways and they stand up, especially that big stand-up they had in overtime. So they can get it done.
They'll get it done late. But yeah, so I think the Bears in this one, so we are finally aligned there. And this one has a little bit of a different flavor. What's the last one?
Giants at Raiders. Who you got for the #1 pick?
I love it.
Listen, this is going to sound wild. Unless you feel like Mendoza or you're looking at the golden ticket, I would like the Raiders to build up their roster. Maybe trade down, get some more picks, figure it out how you can really help elevate. They don't have any receivers. They barely have an offensive line. Defensively, they only have Max Crosby.
Not anymore.
Right. So right now, man, I would like to see the Raiders get the #1 pick, to be honest.
Okay, well, so let's just look. We got an insider battle going on here leading into this game. Both these teams have 2 wins. Both these teams want to lose, but you're not allowed to tank. So Ian Rappaport says Max Crosby was informed that he'll be out of the game, and then Jay Glazer later reported that Max Crosby was furious at that decision. That's just come out in the last hour. The Giants have already ruled out Andrew Thompson. So these teams are just, you're going to sit, you're going to sit, you're going to. The guys are like, what? I'm not even hurt. They're like, no, you're sitting because they want the #1 overall pick. But I'll tell you this, the Raiders are going to lose this game. I think I'm going to bet the Giants.
You go with the Giants?
I'm going to bet the Giants. Here's the reason. Jackson Dart clearly only plays at 1 speed.
Yes.
That guy does not, for his own personal health, safety, he only will play to win. And if the Raiders have just offended Max Crosby to the point where he is outwardly angry, according to Jay Glazer, he is the heart, soul, voice, brain, inspiration. He's basically the logo for the Raiders at this point. So if the Raiders players see that their star, Max Crosby, is upset that the team is basically tanking the game for the pick, what's that going to do to the rest of the guys in the
but I think the rest of the team understands why, to everything that you just mentioned. He's their world. So you don't want to see him get dinged the last, this game against the Giants that really means nothing other than possibly getting the #1 pick. I think they're trying to protect him from himself, and I understand it.
Okay, well, Max Crosby clearly doesn't understand it, and my guess is Max Crosby gets traded in the offseason.
Oh.
Yeah, big storyline developing here in the last hour if Max Crosby is as angry as reports seem to suggest he is. Coming up, though, your Pittsburgh Steelers need a win.
Need it.
Need a win badly. Well, maybe the Browns are going to play spoiler. We'll discuss. Well, Willie's Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-point favorites against their rival, the Cleveland Browns. They can clinch the AFC North with a win. Of course, they will not have DK Metcalf, who is serving a 2-game suspension. And since 2018, yikes, your Steelers are 1-5-1 in games at the Dog Pound. Willie, are you at all worried about this game? Still alive, of course, for the AFC North.
Not really. Yeah, not really, because this isn't about DK not playing. This is about the Steelers owning the line of scrimmage and dominating like they did when they were in Detroit, being able to run the ball and also be able to own the line of scrimmage. And they, you watch the defensive line of the Steelers, they beat up on Detroit's offensive line, which is a very good offensive line, according to the brand. Overall, man, you just watch the Steelers get the identity back and play with Aaron Rodgers, and really it seemed like they all came together and they had the same synergy and effort and really beating a tough Lions team in Detroit. So I'm not worried about DK. That's going to work itself out. I just want the Steelers to show up and play the physical brand of football that they know they can.
It's all there for the Steelers.
Right.
But Rodgers is healthy. That was a huge question mark. Could he get through a season healthy? They're going to get TJ Watt back at some point. Defense is rounding into form. Jalen Warren just had a great game. DK Metcalf will be available for the playoffs.
Yep.
You're going to host a home playoff game if you don't blow it down the stretch. Lamar Jackson is whatever's going on with Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Back contusion, issue with his coach, doubtful. They could be eliminated by the time you even take the field in this spot. So maybe you can lock up the division before you even have to play, and then you can rest guys and get really healthy. It's breaking perfectly for your squad to win your first playoff game since 2016.
Yeah, for me, it's about this defense, though, because I know the Cleveland Browns at home, they're a tough outfit, but defensively, we have to be bet on the road. One of the things I thought we did last week against the Lions was we tackled well and we communicated well on the back end. We own the defensive line, and I felt like we really got after Jared Goff. We're going to have to get after the Browns, and then we have to start early and often. Hopefully they can get it done. I'm not worried about Rodgers. He's going to be on par. It's about the defense for me.
All right, well, listen, and you have the highest paid defense in the NFL. So it'd be nice for them to step up and make Shedeur Sanders' life miserable, right?
Yeah,
Shedeur cannot carve you guys up.
No, no, because that's going to hurt my feelings. And, I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan. No, but I think the defense right now, this is not a statement when this is about putting the ice on a division. You have an opportunity to do it in Cleveland. Everybody's ready to go. You had a good week last week. Start stacking good tape and to be ready for January.
It's fair. It's remarkable how the AFC, I had 3 teams making the playoffs before the year. The Bengals, obviously, injuries, no defense, everything that's happened there. Baltimore, most people's pick to make the Super Bowl before the year.
I did.
They
one of them. Yeah.
Could easily be eliminated with Tyler Huntley on Saturday night. And the Steelers, ho-hum, once again, another winning record under Mike Tomlin, another division.
They're going to keep my blood pressure up. I know that.
I know. Listen, I know it hasn't.
It's going to be a street fight.
It hasn't been easy for you, but they're right back where they always are. Winning record.
Best of luck to your Bears, too, by the way.
Massive game for the Bears. Come on, Caleb. Don't let me down. We'll talk about it Monday.